There's been a lot of telephone that's taken place, so I kind of want to hear directly from the horse's mouth, like what's true and what's not true. And
Okay. What you want to know?
So, have Grayson, you wrote this? I take it.
Yeah, everything in blue I
Okay.
write. If any legislation proposal we put forward, we're talking about,
Okay.
if it's written in blue, that's me.
All right. I don't want you to take the following questions the wrong way. These are things that have come up. Please don't get hyper focused on who said it, but this is just you know how it goes, right? With fucking telephone and shit. Were you in active communication with Gates and Faulkner at the time of the meeting that myself and Frost were having?
Yeah.
Okay. How detailed was that communication? Again, and the reason for that question is
I was getting reams off Gates at times. I was getting, but obviously it's broken, right?
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't in depth. I take it.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay. So
some of it was tried to be written verbatim, like we would.
Here's okay. So transparently, I don't know. I don't think that conversation was very constructive. I think primarily because the author's not present, right? And that's going to dilute some things. However, it also was not constructive because there was no logical backing to some of the questions that were being asked. It was, for lack of a better word, very, let's just say opinionated, right? Like, I think of this rather than this is the why. And so let's go through the direct concerns that we brought up. And I actually want to address something before that. It was told to us that LSPD has signed off on this.
Yep.
Okay. So we have been in communication with their high command shortly thereafter, and we are hearing that is not the case.
I literally had a meeting with Kyle Pred and he signed off on it.
Okay. Do you know how detailed that was? That mean?
He read it. He said he was fine with it. He would say it was with me, Michael Roselle, and Kyle Pred. He said, if you guys are fine with it, I'm fine with it after he read it.
Okay. How long did that meeting last?
10, 20 minutes.
Okay. So, was he all right? We'll address that separately with him then. Here is our primary concern here, right? And I'm going to tell you just direct. The first concern comes with Article 1, Section B. In this, it states that, now let me first say that there was a 10, and I'm telling you this for context in case whatever communication did not convey this properly. It sounded like the main concern and the reason for the update to Article 1 was because y'all wanted the ability to have a back and forth with you don't want to be a rubber stamp when it comes to expungements.
Yes, right. So the whole point for the entire amendment to this legislation at all was more engagement with the public and with the PD, right?
Yeah.
That's the intention. That's why. So the edits came in initially because I wanted to reinstitute expungement hearings, right? Yeah. The way it works currently is kind of dog shit, and I think everybody can probably agree with that. I think the idea that somebody just stays crime-free, they come to a judge and they're like, okay, wipe my shit clean, and nobody has any further engagement from that.
Okay.
Is a little dog water.
I'm 100% in support of that, as are Frost and Angel.
So obviously so I've been a judge for a long time. At one point, it used to be 14 days expungement hearing, 14 days extra with extra conditions, and then at that point, you get expunged, right? So it was 28 days total, right? 14 days, 14 days. The reason I landed on 21 is because I was having a conversation with Junior Huntley, your mayor, and he floated that idea, right? He floated 21. And I was okay with that because that gives us a second, another week to hit 28 days where we can, provide, some kind of engagement with the community service, whatever that turns out to be. I'll speak, making the sausages. This is how I train my judges. It gives them an opportunity on some low stakes, decision making in a court environment where they get to express a certain level of creativity in their judgments and their decision-making skills, and also engagement from the populace, from PD, all that stuff, right? Which wasn't there and isn't there currently. That's why that all went in. That's why
So
it's there. That's
the
why
premise of all that, super all on board for. I do not like, you've seen me, Grayson. I like to come after court cases and shit. I'd like to understand your shit. I do not like whether it's law enforcement or whether it is, defense attorneys just fucking off, right? I do think you need that engagement. I support that. Our issue and only concern is the 30 going down to 21. This becomes a massive issue from our side when it comes to investigative work. Now, I know from a legal perspective, it may, functionally speaking, it's still 30 days, right?
Which is still the statute of limitation. Well, here's my take on that, Brian. And like, I get where you're going, right? I can complete the sentence. The issue is, it's 21 days.
Could you please, just so I know that
please.
You understand what I'm saying? Oh, do you want
No, please continue.
Okay.
Like,
so the problem becomes that from a optics perspective, from the perspective of how we convey ourselves with criminals during an active investigation, this has a significant impact. I'm going to give you an example of what that is going to look like. If I am actively investigating someone and not speed running it, right? Because that happens a lot. There has been so much dog shit police work that I've been witness to, and I'll stand here on business on that. If I could, I would probably fire half of the PD for doing some of the most unethical. Let me see what I can do within a day. Let me not interrogate. Let me fucking do, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad. The problem is that for those who are now trying to do things right, and we're starting to see that reemerge within the police department, for them to ensure that they have time to interrogate, get the reports, go through the information, and hit that 21 day, and now have to look at someone, and this is a thing, I hope, and say, hey, I know you're going through this process, but I'm about to make your fucking, about to press some charges on you, puts a very unnecessary, undue stress on those individuals that are already tough to go up for bat for. Are you able to read through my lines here?
Yes, I get that point, right? Here's my thing. I generally think that when we're doing this, when we're pushing this shit, I personally believe, and I would rather train my judges to do the same thing going forward, because it's the way I've always worked. If I'm about to expunge somebody and they're a career criminal, I would reach out to members of PD command and be asking, hey, is this person under investigation? That's even applicable, right? Because if there are charges pending, what's the point in setting somebody up to fail? That's not what I'm trying to do ever, and I wouldn't do that. But like, Brian, I'm gonna be honest. Like, obviously, Gator relayed the 30-day thing. I have no objection. Like, the 21 days came from Junior. Like, I have no horse in that race.
I love my fiance, but he's not really a legal guy. You know what I mean? So so wait, we have no issue with the 30 days then.
I don't care. The issue is, right, the major issue is if we leave it at 30 days and then institute further compounding components to this legislation, like the demand of a hearing and the demand of maybe, potentially like community service after the fact and all that stuff. It's now harder to get an expungement than it was before. Like, the process is now more complicated. That clearly opens it up more for challenge from the public, right? And it's not like I'm trying to write perfect legislation that doesn't get challenged. That's not the point. It's just, there's going to be kickback there, right? There's going to be kickback because suddenly it will be seen as more, it won't be seen as like give and take.
Here's my counter argument, right? So I think when I look at legislation, and even with what you said here, while I know that you're someone that can be reasoned with, the same may not be true 6 months from now. And when I look at these things, I'm not necessarily looking at them through the lens of what works today in this moment, but rather acknowledging that there are things that are in here still from like 3 generations ago. And as such, I know that I could call you if some psycho decided that on the 22nd day after committing terrorism that we need to hold back on that, right? I don't necessarily trust someone else, right? Either because I may not know them, I may not have rapport, they might be in a different time zone. We may have some, God knows who ends up in this, in these positions a year from now, 2 years from now. Nobody knows. There might be a damn collapse and all these laws still exist, right? So, and as such, having these sort of conversations and baking in these contingencies and getting it right one time is better than, seeing you see where I'm going with this?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Now, I know that there might be some pressure, but I don't think that pressure, in my mind, I don't, how many people come through expungement and are like, man, a week versus not a week is, this is weighing, can the select few get a expungement a week sooner at the risk of us losing investigators, right? And that's the big thing that I'm fighting
obviously,
for here.
I have no interest in that, right?
Yeah.
If it's that dire, I am obviously not.
Yeah.
This is why we go through the consultation process after the fact, right? Because the reality is, I'm perfectly within my authority to just put this up, but why do that if I don't have everybody's take on it?
Are any of y'all conflicted on the ADMC case?
Yes.
Me.
I am.
If
Do I
you
have to
are
step out?
already,
I'm the judge on
well,
that.
okay, yeah. If you are already conflicted on the ADMC case, in other words, you can listen to what I'm about to say. Please stay. I only need 5 minutes. I'm going to use an example
I gotta go.
that is very important for me to note. And I want to paint a picture here because it's hard to make examples without, paint a picture without an example. We're having to deal with people doing the most heinous shit and literally crying about it the next day, right? And we have criminals that are coming and will sag farm their way into charges getting dropped. And those investigators are going to stop working, right?
That's good.
I don't want my deputies, my investigators in both departments to have to deal with that. And I know that may not make sense, the difference between 21 and 30. I know how I know how that rodeo goes.
No, I don't. I get the difference. I see the difference. I just,
Okay.
I think that's where some discretion comes in, right? Where I need people to be able to read it, but okay, if we want to just hard legislate at 30, I get it. Makes sense.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. We can bring them back in. I don't got keys. Yep.
Ava, you're good.
Okay. So then comes the next bit. I'll give it a second. All right. I appreciate it, guys. Yep. All right. So the next area of contention comes in with Article 3, Hag Expungements Procedure. I am all for reformation. In the example yesterday, I tried to bring up, but I don't know how familiar they were with it. I used Michael Simone as an example, and you might remember that.
I'm more than aware. Yeah, I mean, yes, I was all over that. So yeah.
As soon as he was all done and done, I was all about he's a civilian again. I recognize how quick this city moves. And if anyone is indefinitely hosed, we're sort of closing the doors of other opportunities and scenarios that may take place in the city, right? The three of us do not have an issue with all hags being expunged at some stage. The concern comes out with the writing of how this is. And this goes back to the notion of we aren't judging this based on who currently exists, but who will exist and who can exist.
Can I catch you up? Because obviously there's been a legislative authority meeting in the interim, right? That happened a couple of hours ago now.
Yeah.
So we got down to brass tacks. We had a conversation. Sergeant V. Gray was there on behalf of the LSPD. He wanted to talk to us. He raised some concerns. Michael raised some issues before I had to leave for a medical thing. The things that were floated, right, from Michael specifically was a 3-month period with 0 felonies and a 9-month period with no hags. And then in addition to the 2 votes of the Justice Panel and the 1 vote of the Legislative Authority Panel, that, like I said, the point for all this hag stuff, all this expungement stuff in general, is that, you know, people are there, there's a hearing, it's open to the public, it's publicly accountable, that the PD would be involved if they want to fight it. But specifically that I think we landed on that both the sheriff and the chief of police would be invited directly, and that the individual requesting that expungement would need a sign off from at least one of them.
I'm unsure. Sorry, you're gonna have to run that back because that was a
yes. So you'd only be applicable to apply if you'd been 9 months free of all hags and 3 months clear of all felonies, right? So you'd have had to been clean for 3 months and also 9 months away from your nearest hag charge. It would be a public hearing in which the sheriff and the chief of police are both invited, and one of those people would have to assent to you getting the opportunity, right? Before it went to a vote of the legislative authorities.
Okay. So
another check and balance.
Okay. So it would have been nice for us to also have representation, as we at present have for next time, right? Here is kind of where we're coming from. I don't know where their stance came from. I'm going to be rather transparent. Like I said,
Michael said he'd had a bunch of conversations overnight, so I assumed he'd been talking to you guys.
No, not at all.
I have no idea.
For full transparency, I was taken aback by Pred signing on this, mostly because I've worked with him for so long. I don't see. This was the original version, mind you, right?
Mm.
And as such, and based on. Look, I'll paint the picture, right, that when Faulkner, I like Faulkner, he's a good guy, but he was exceptionally defensive in that conversation, and there was, I didn't know how much was emotion and how much wasn't, right? And there was...
He's exceptionally Scottish, and sometimes his tone can seem adversarial. I suffer from the same thing.
Sure, and I think like just a couple minutes in, he made the statement, you guys are the only one that have this issue, LSPD has no problem. Right, like that's overtly aggressive in what should be an adult discourse, right? In my opinion, especially because at the end of the day, we want to work with you guys. It is not conducive to either of us for us to be at war or whatever cringe other shit happens around the city. You know, like I don't want to be BSK, and you guys probably don't want to be ESB. You know what I'm saying? Or replace with whatever other gangs. East Side, right? We're still blasting, except we're blasting with legislation. There's much more interesting shit happen in the city. So,
I think so.
With that said, I then from there contacted Ruby to see if she had heard this, because I wanted to get her opinion. She did not know anything about it. I spoke with Maxwell this morning. She did not know anything about it. She learned about it after myself and Junior spoke, and they went and spoke to Haley Maxwell, and that was the extent of their high command, unless the new high command went there. But I can't make that assessment. My point is that they were not fully appraised. Here is what we wanted, and I think we're close, is number one is that it would be posted to the docket such that like the time, right? Like we want to.
I want a fully scheduled thing. Yeah, that's the intention.
It should be scheduled. It's happening on this day, because both the victims those that may be intimately knowledgeable as to the individual that's conducting those crimes.
Yeah.
They should be present for
100% agree.
very long-term investigations. The judiciary, by virtue of preventing themselves from being conflicted, may not be knowledgeable as to what that individual may be in the process of doing. Let's use Michael Simone again, my favorite, ex-criminal. There was months where he was a civilian. But if, let's say, he had a felony and went up to do an expungement, or let's say he had a hag and he was back up to it and he's in his evil lair doing some security, we might go in there and be like, hey, there's a fucking active investigation, right? But for us to know that, we need a time and date, right?
Sure.
So if there's a docket posting on it, like that solves that. The second was the awaiting a year. Now, here's where things, I think, got spicy and are very quickly turning into what I believe into a shit show of high school drama, which I ain't got time for, and I don't think you got time for. When presented with 1 year, the following statement was made, and I'm just throwing everything out on the table. Is that okay, Frost Angel?
Yeah, I think it's appropriate.
Okay. The notion of 9 months came up, and it was oddly specific. And I asked why 9? Why not a year? There was no logical response to it, which was just odd. It was then made, the argument was, if not 12 months, it's going to be end up being 15, to which I said, why? Because it's 1 year, and then the day after you can get fully expunged. I knew something was off. The conversation then turned into Gates letting us know that Osvaldo had been in communication with this, which now,
I mean, 1 million people have been in communication with us about this.
And I believe that you probably wrote this before he was aware of it. I believe that because I've seen you in action. I also believe
this has been in effect. Do you remember that month when we had there was like 3 or 4 separate hearings? There was the Edgar hearing, there was the Osvaldo hearing, there was a hearing for I can't remember her name, but Sean did it. There was like 4 hearings where people asked for exceptional, they wanted a public hearing to come, contest their shit in public. That's when this all started, right? A bunch of people went to it. I think it was before the last election, right? So that's like 2 months ago now, right?
I appreciate
in there
Napoleon
somewhere. And even then I was already drafting the stuff about hearings for normal expungements, right?
Yep.
So the scope got blown open a bit, but it got blown open because there was like 4 hearings within the case of like 2 weeks. And it was like, okay, this is an issue. Somebody needs to look at this. We need to like at least try something and see where it lands,
I will, I believe that. The issue is, and I was in that position, and this is less aimed at you, or even the justices. The problem is now that after that had been brought up, I then immediately was told that Osvaldo was made aware of the meeting that me, Frost, and the justices had, in which he is immediately now claiming that me and Frost are shutting down his legislation. Now, I don't believe that you contacted him. I think a dumbass did. And now we're in a very awkward position. Because while my history with you tells me that you didn't do this shit, I think someone did some dumb fuck shit. And unfortunately, I got the timeline. And now when I look at this, it looks like this is being pushed on behalf of Osvaldo in order to get him expunged in that 9-month period. And while I may have originally said, like, let's go with 9 months, now it's kind of, I have to question, like,
Osvaldo still wouldn't be applicable for until 2026.
Well,
his last hag charge was in June. I did it. He pled guilty to 2nd-degree murder.
So
It's the Danny Default murder that put Pipsqueak in jail.
So I have to ask point blank, right?
Mhm.
I don't want these shit show high school rumor mill bullshits, right? It's not good for you guys more than it is not good for us, right? I'm looking here to do police work, bring shit to court. It's draining. But why is it Justice communicating with Osvaldo and framing it that way?
I mean, I can't speak for what other people have said to Osvaldo. What I can speak to is the fact that I get calls daily from Osvaldo about this.
I get what you're saying there, Grayson, but I think it's some, like, while you may not be fully aware that, and you may not, as another standard justice, this did happen and this is happening. And my counter to this is, can we make this right by doing a year and then going from there? And the second is, can we in future, and I know that you can only speak for yourself, right? And which is a good thing, right? I think we, among us, DOJ, and I'm like, and I think Angel and Frost here can agree. I want us to have some healthy debates, right? But when some of our peers or our subordinates are entering into lines of unprofessionalism, the only thing that will come out of that is a shit show, which I don't want to be a part of personally. And I think neither do a lot of folks, I think, within the LEOs, but I think also amongst the judiciary, right? So
it's draining.
It is. I can be a shitlord, and I know you can be a shitlord. Not everyone's going to be able to take that. So, and
I understand that.
So I guess so
here's the thing, right? Like, obviously I'm gonna have to get back to all the legislative authorities because we talked like in conjunction earlier, and you know the legislative authorities were happy with the 9 and 3.
Yeah.
So the 3 for felonies, which basically means that, like, you know, even if you hadn't done your fucking you hadn't even, like, you know, punched somebody aggressively over the past 3 months, which I think is fair, right? Like, showing actual. I think 3 months of complete cleanness, three times higher than what we expect from people for normal expungement. I think that's a fair ask, and I think, you know, again, I don't know where the 9 months come from. That came from the discussion you guys had, not me. You know, so.
Can I ask a question, Grayson?
Sure.
Were the LSPD present at that conversation earlier?
Which
you just said
legislative authority?
Yeah.
So we had a meeting. I and V showed up with Junior or Michael. I don't know why. I didn't know they were going to be there till they walked through the door. Okay. You'd have to ask Junior or Michael why they got there. I don't know.
It might have been they were. Yeah. Okay. We'd like for a year only. I'd like to understand where I want to understand the logic between behind the 9.
I literally don't know because it came up in the meeting yesterday. I got told about it after you got told about it, right? Like, I don't know.
See, and that's what's strange, Grayson, right? Like, you understand where I'm literally born, like, my job is literally to raise an eyebrow, right? And like, if someone said that to me, like an interrogation, I'd be like, what the fuck? And then you get all this other sort of shit popping up. It's like, it smells like shit. Why does it smell like shit? Right.
I mean, I can also see a reason for it. So like, I can see the reason. So the thing about the 15 months, right? The reality is, if this can only happen once in a mayoral term, the chances are you're going to do it towards the end of your mayoral term, so you don't fucking, you don't fire your bullet in the first day and you don't have a bullet to fire like for another 3 months, right? You're not going to do it day 1. You're going to do it right at the end. I'm getting a text message from Junior. He's asking if he can enter the meeting. Does anybody mind if?
Yeah, he can come on.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
How does he know?
Hey, Junior, yeah, we're upstairs in the quiet room. You can come on up if you want.
Barely right out here, Grayson.
We're literally.
Yeah,
right
just
over
you.
here. Oh. Yeah, you guys.
Oh, Crane's back today or tomorrow. By the way, I just received word.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
No,
I'm looking forward to
doing?
seeing him. Hey, how
Yeah.
you doing?
Junior, do you know why V Gray was at the meeting today? I didn't have context as to why he showed up. Did he come with Michael?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It was
Okay.
either it may have been Michael, but I'm not sure, to be completely
Okay.
transparent with you.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure if he came with you or with Michael.
It would have been nice to have someone from my side there too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it's about sides, you know.
Well, that's just an easy way of saying from the BCSO, you know.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have everyone aware and present of the conversation is all.
Anything that kind of like, obviously we have interest in this, right? As it directly affects, you know, as we already said, investigations, morale around them, you know, the difference between speed running a case and not speed running a case. And look,
I mean,
and
this is specifically why Gates and Falcon came to you guys, right?
That was not the most constructive meeting, as a back and forth dialogue is like, as they didn't write it, right? So they could not speak to some of the points, and therefore some of the answers were dismissive rather than providing a constructive reasoning as to the why, right?
I can understand
such as the 9, right? And I think, you know, to kind of repoint at what Angel's point out here is like that the legislative authorities have interest in this. They want to make a decision, and therefore that decision should likely be informed. And instead of us getting into the phone game, right, Osvaldo said this, and like one of our shitlord cops said that, or, you know, Mama Bear said this, or I don't know. I don't know. Ma, you know, no offense, but let's say Ma was like one of your shit stirrers. He starts with, you know what I mean? We're not getting anywhere, right? So
I get that.
yeah, I want to just, you know, cut the cord, you know, like they say.
Go straight to the source. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I had intentions behind everything I wrote, right? And I'm willing to openly state them because I've got nothing to hide.
Well, what were your intentions behind the 9 months then?
I didn't raise the 9 months. It had nothing to do with it. The 9 months came up in a meeting yesterday with Dark, Frost, Gates, and Falconer.
What was the initial time that you wrote then?
There wasn't a time.
Yeah,
so it was just decided yesterday?
Yeah, that is correct. So what happened was I brought up my concern that the way that this was written was you could literally do murder and then be like, hey, I want to get all expunged. And while it is true, while I believe that y'all wouldn't do it, it's not about what y'all would do, but rather the optics and the messaging that's coming out is that it's like, you know, in the United States, if someone did murder and then they could immediately have a parole hearing, you know what I mean? It's a very discouraging sort of thing. Hence we brought up the hey timeline. I said a year, and then they brought up 9, and I was like, wait, why 9? That's an odd number. And then came
so I was getting that was the way we were when Junior texted me. So
Yep.
the idea, I can see the reason between the 9, right? Because like I said, if it hits that 1 year guideline, right, and that let's assume all the numbers line up perfectly, so that 1 year ends on the same day that a mayor's term begins. None of that's ever going to happen, but like let's assume, right? The reality is the mayor's not going to fire that bullet day 1. They're going to wait until the end of the 3rd month so that a better opportunity doesn't come and go past, right? It's on because they only do it once. So I think it would, in factuality, be like a 15-month process at that point. So I can see that why the 9 months makes sense there, right? Because the reality is it's going to go through at about a year instead of at 9 months. I can see the reasoning, but I also get your point. Like, why not just, you know, do it a year and make people wait?
What about 11 months?
I mean, that gives it the opportunity to go in at a year, right? Because it's never going to go in at 11 months. You're going to reply. It's going to get scheduled.
10 months.
There's going to be politicking. All that. I honestly, Brian, I don't care what the number is. I couldn't care less. I think if you need a number, if you need it to be stretched out, I understand, and I can. You know, I'm willing to try legislating that and floating that. You know,
I would be comfortable with a year, and the main thing is once you size down, you cannot size back up. right? And right now we're sizing infinity down to a month, or sorry, down to
I
a
mean,
year.
yeah, it's something that
And-
isn't possible to something that is, right?
Correct. And so I can comfortably say a year. 9 months makes me exceptionally nervous. And given that we're all speculating on the future, I'd rather side on caution that opens up the door for so many people, right? While also ensuring that we don't do it so much to the extent that we really fuck some shit up, like real badly. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's not the intention, right? The intention is to give more possibilities, not less.
And I'm super on board, like, you know, with that. Because when I size it up, it's multiple hags, right? You as an adult at that point have made decisions, right? And I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit for, you know, the faceless and other folks like that, right? Like, their shit matters when they do it, right? And holy fuck, would it be crazy if, like, they came in and like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? You get what I like? That shit needs impact, right? And meaning.
No, I'm with you, right?
And-
like he's a reality, right? Like we've had no death penalty since the state reopened. We've had one life sentence since the state reopened. The gravitas is not there right now, and I understand where you're coming from, right? But I also had this conversation with the legislative authorities. It's a shame when he wasn't there. I honestly didn't realize, you know. But, you know, going forward, if there's any police presence, I'll immediately reach out to the other side because I don't want you feeling like you're being excluded. That's not the intention.
We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So Michael raised the idea, and he talked quite eloquently about the gravity of these things, right? And he said, providing this form of clemency at all is one of those things that philosophically we have to get our heads around. And I asked him if he felt the same way about mayoral clemency when it comes to the death penalty and life imprisonment, right? Because with the mayors having that power, the power to provide a second chance from the extreme, I don't philosophically see a difference in providing these opportunities on a lower level, you know, just to give people who've proven themselves and given the correct amount of attrition and, you know, set themselves about to give them another chance at life, right? We live in a world which is about opportunities, and I want to extend opportunities to people. So I like providing an arbitrary number, whether that's 9 months or a year. I don't care. Like, I just want to give people a chance. That's the point here. That's all the point is.
Yeah, we would like to see that as well. But you know, at a cost that is reasonable. And look,
but like I said,
I think if we hit 10
more
months,
checks and balances.
I'd like to see 1 year and then see how it goes. And then we reduce it down. Like, I mean, reducing it down, seeing how things go in future, I think is a lot more palpable than 9. And not to mention, it gets rid of some of these very, some of the fears that we've got is like, there's a lot of sussy baka going on with this stuff. I don't think at your hands. I think that just we're in shitlord season right now, and
I think
it's hard to filter out the shitlording from those who still give a shit, right? And
I think the thing that I think was raised was, you know, I think you argued with them that people could just apply as many times as they want. I would not be adverse with that being noted because I don't want to fight a war of attrition where people are applying infinitely.
Correct.
That you can only apply for this once per year. I think that's reasonable.
Yes,
like,
absolutely. Like, it should be a thing. You're accepting it in, right?
Yeah, like you are making your one petition per calendar year, right? Like I'm okay with that because I really, you know, it should be a political choice. It should be one of those choices where you are weighing the pros and cons, where you're assessing who the sheriff and the chief are, you're assessing who the mayors are, you're assessing your opportunities. Like, it should be a big tactical decision where you're making like a serious play for rehabilitation, right?
100%. There's something else that I left off the table, but I want us to absorb. I'm going to reference again. The PD is very down bad. Some of our law enforcement, and I'm not afraid of saying this shit, do not understand RS and PC. They do not understand bringing in, you know, about the guy we fired. They don't believe in interrogations. or
hate that.
believe in communicating with the people that whose lives they're about to fuck up, right?
Here's the thing. I can tell by how seriously you guys are taking this and how seriously you're engaging with the hag stuff, right? That to you it means something, right?
It
But like,
does.
we're picking up cues from PD about where they are on this. And I mentioned this to B Gray earlier too, right? When it comes to plea deals and stuff, and I just asked Roman to look over all this for me earlier, like you're giving plea deals to hags for like 1 or 2 years, sometimes time served. Like, if we're picking up that from you and we're like, oh, this is what this
No.
is, this is where they see this, it's telling us things, it's inferring things to us about how seriously you're taking this. And
Yeah.
like, if we're following the lead, if we're following what you're putting down, what we're
I
proposing
can-
isn't crazy.
I'm is okay. That anger's not towards you. I feel and
Yeah.
share very similar. I am actually, you and I have had these conversations in the past. I've always wanted a standard set by the law, not to take away, but to say this is the targets, right? And it's the same with processing. You don't go down from the target until you're getting something back. A plea deal isn't, I don't know, wait, certain things might be not done yet. There should not be personal biases or I feel bad that comes in, because the moment you do that, Lang Buddha, my best friend, treason 1 month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it turns into, oh, Osvaldo Pingafria, you know what? My best friend now. 5 you know what I'm saying? It's a very dangerous road, which I am not for. So I understand. I totally am in agreement with you, at least within the officers and investigators that we're overseeing. And I think Ruby is very much in that same boat. I don't want to speak too much on her behalf, but we speak a lot, right?
Because obviously, when we're coming in with our sentencing guidelines, Brian, like if somebody goes to court and they're facing a hug charge, right, and the 3 other people involved sign plea deals for 1 year apiece,
I know what you're.
our sentencing.
Can
is
you
gonna
give
be
me
so
an
low.
example so I'm not unintentionally talking about something that I shouldn't be talking about?
So there was the people versus Pipsqueak, right? Everybody there basically got 1 or 2 years, and it was all for a murder, right?
Who was the
The victim was Danny Default.
who's the prosecutor?
Who was the prosecutor on that one? The thing is, 90% of it didn't go to court. Who was it, Roman?
Checking one moment.
I just think if we're raising standards, they need to be raised across the board, right? It needs to be.
This is the thing that sucks is I'm not afraid of talking about these topics. Some people are like, cops investigate their fucking friends and then give them breaks, and it's fucking dumb as shit, and they do not directly recognize the larger impact that has on folks.
Hey, look, I'm gonna talk about somebody I think's amazing and is a fantastic officer, right? Opal Price. I think she's great, right? But like in that Lang Buddha case, she literally got up and when she was asking for sentencing, asked for time served, and it was a murder trial. Right? Like,
she is
he
not
served more time
anywhere
than that,
near my
but-
unit.
So the Pip Squeak case was Opal Price and Henry Chaos.
There you go.
Well, look, our standards and the standards of a lot of other detectives in LSPD are very different mindseted. And I want to leave it at that because I do think Opal's great. I think I don't want to make it about her, but we have very different standards and procedures when coming to that. And
Okay.
I do recognize that y'all take cues from that. I'm also open to discussing the plea deals post facto, so you understand how our process works in BCSO, or let's just say in DTF, or Detective Task Force, that's now overseeing court cases or investigations and such, for those reasons and other reasons that I cannot mention in this room so as not to conflict you. Our general procedure, and I will reference the most recent plea deals that I have done. We did one with I got meth in the trunk. Now, did I feel bad for them? I did, because of their stupidity, thinking that I'm not going to use my ability to check said trunk after you tell me there's meth in there. We had cooperation. So you'll see on that docket case, I went for, I think, like 10-10 seizure and shit. Because if you're manufacturing drugs inside of a house, I'm taking that fucking house. However, what I am weighing is, number one, the cooperation, right? Are we closing the case that day, right? Because PD resources have a play, right? It's going to take one cop. Is it going to take 5? Is it going to be a full docket case, right? That's what plea deals are. You're assessing these things. Number 2 is, like I said, so it's how much you're cooperating, how much easier is it, and what is my standard? And it kind of plays off that, right? It's kind of like a mental formula, right? And maybe we need an Excel sheet that does it for all our officers. I don't know. But the original point that I was going to make, because I'm realizing I'm kind of going off the reservation here a bit, that the reason, one of all the reasons we listed for the year for the HAG, the other cost that is not necessarily seen, and I want you all to kind of just use our speculative minds, because I'm not going to point on something specific. There are a lot of things happening around the city, and there is more willingness to do terrorism, treason, all these big HAG-related things, because there isn't enough PD resources to tackle those cases in a way that is meaningful for the individuals we're investigating, while providing a meaningful enough case where we go into the courtroom and there is a good, argument being made, right? When we reduce too much, and this is once again for the year versus the 9, if we overcorrect, people will feel more empowered to do them, knowing that, hey, if I do this shit and I do get caught, it's only 6 months, right? Or 9 months. The year at least gives us some breathing room. We're not creating inadvertently more people comfortable from doing these things. Because as much as people should be given a second chance, there is a PD cost to it. You know what I mean? So
I get that. I mean, here's the thing, though, right? It can only happen once per mayoral term. So, like, imagine if another war in Sandy Shores happened. I mean, I don't know who. I know Angel's aware, and I know Brian's aware. I don't know if you are, Frost. So, for that one, there was 30 to 40 people arrested, and I had to put through plea deals for all 30 to 40 of them. They all got treason. Like,
Yeah, that was a shit show.
Like a year later, only one of them's gonna get the opportunity, right? Like that. If that happens again, the big scale shit, like this isn't gonna touch. It's not even gonna touch the sides of the big scale stuff.
Wait, why not?
Because it's a once per, right? So the mayors can only do it once per 3 months. So if 30, 40 people commit treason in a singular incident,
I understand what you're saying.
It's
got to be right. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay.
This is like when we say exceptional, we mean exceptional, right? It's going to be very rare.
Okay. Well, I think
that's intentional.
I understood. Yeah, I think the verbiage that is shown here is it's very how do I put this? There's a lot of words here before we get to the point you just made. So in exceptional circumstances may offer a one-time expungement of all crimes. So I think it's the wording where it says offer a one-time expungement of all crimes, including, like, what does that mean? Is that inclusive to what you're saying is that you can do this process once or once per mayoral term?
Every person can only ever have it done once, and it can only happen once per mayoral term.
That is super not clear here, I think. Because like if you like in the exceptional circumstance, the DOJ may offer a one-time expungement for all crimes, including all HAG charges for a citizen's record. So my reading of this, and please correct me where I'm wrong here, where it says including alcoholic offenses from a citizen's record is not the subject and primary noun here, citizen, because it says citizen's record. I think what
I mean, it's a draft.
Yeah. Am I misreading it? Like, and
I
I'm
understand
with
the
you.
confusion. It could be
Yeah.
it could be rewritten.
Okay.
It could be simplified.
Okay, so this is like once per marital term, some individual in San Andreas can get full expunged.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And you can only have it done once.
Was that clear in the
So
meeting there, Frost? I don't want to go back, but I'm like, look, that is less. That makes a lot more sense.
So yeah, you can only have it done once, and even the way it's written now, it would only happen like 4 times a year, right? So in total, 4 people a year, if those powers were chosen to be exercised, could be expunged. But I'm going to be real. I think it'd be really hard in practice. I think there's a lot of political capital that would have to be expended on picking people, and I think a lot of mayors would run to the fucking hills instead of making that choice. I think it would affect their next election cycles. I think I think you'd get mayors who are wanting to run on the platform of I'm picking this person, but that doesn't mean the other mayor's going to be interested at all in that person. I think it would be very, very hard to get through, and that was designed intentionally. But I also understand the fear of, well, what if all the mayors are idiots and they just vote yes on the first person who comes across their door? You know.
That's understandable. So I think we're landing all this is we're in agreement on the 30 days instead of 21. The rest of that's good. The third one, the addition of a docket so that the public knows that it's taken place.
That's the intention. Anyway. If you want to legislate, that makes sense.
Yeah, just so there isn't some shadow court stuff, right? And once again,
no.
I'm not alleging anyone in this room would do it, right? I am reading this through the lens of we have this 5 years from now, right? Yeah. And someone decides to make it miserable for everyone for a couple months until they're removed, And then I'm going to continue to advocate for the 1 year because I am very fearful that anything less than a year without giving it a test run, right? What the implication of that is, because any less than a year, I'm just afraid with the gross effects it's going to have on investigators. With that said, I can tell this room that the 3 of us, myself, Frost, Angel, those in the LSPD as a part of this like greater umbrella task force, are very interested in raising the experience and the quality of our investigations. So that is something we would like to do. If you are finding that whether it's these plea deals that are turning out to be dog shit or anything that you believe that you're having negative experience with, we would like to know about it so we can help resolve it, similar to the conversation
I
that just took
actually
place.
think you should look at plea deals. I think the reality is the same way when you have one officer, I mean, obviously Angel fixed this with the Den Act, right? When you have one officer who is willing to offer 95% of time off, and it lowers the expectations of what kind of time people are going to face. I think your plea deals at times lower people's expectations of what they could face in court, and raises the splashback we get from that.
I agree with you. It's the reality is that the unfortunate reality is, and I don't have a perfect solution for it, is that we are very communicative among the 15 some odd people that we're actively working across departments with when it comes to those things. Like, we speak a lot about it and why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? But some of the damage has already been done. And we deal with a lot of politicking, right? Where unfortunately conversations like this could be constructive and it turns into high school shit, right? Where, you get what I'm saying? You have a conversation, you have an agreement, and then it's like a month later, people are doing dumb shit again. People are there for the tea, not for the action and the responsibility. So we'll do what we can on our end. if they're, I might start badging DTF plea deals so you can look at them differently. And if there are things that you want expanded with the way that we file and within the unit, our plea deals, so it comes with the logic, we can do that as well. So you have a more comprehensive understanding of how we arrived at certain numbers.
I mean,
a conversation,
that'd be
whatever it
great
might
because
be.
if we can understand it, then we can, take some of that logic and internalize it ourselves, right?
Okay. All right.
I
Easy.
have both of yours already notated right here.
Well, now that that's out of the way, do we want to talk about the other thing?
I think we should, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, I need coffee time. That was a
Okay.
wait.
Yeah, should we have a
who's
2-minute break before we get into the next thing?
Yeah, can we take a 5-minute breather?
That's a good
pretty
idea.
Grace,
Yeah, a
do
little
I have a key
recess.
for this door,
Take a
or
recess.
do we
No.
have one?
No, you
Having some
don't.
deep
I don't
thought
have
about
one.
bacon
One second.
mashes
Judicial
right
only.
now.
Okay.
You see, that was I checked. What
Mhm.
do you think, bro?
I drink so much damn coffee every day.
Yeah, it's not good for you to drink too much, though.
I
Just a
know.
question, Nate.
Yeah, go ahead.
The two ones that you were talking about for your plea deals are the Ploxi and Peter Johnson ones?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got those notated already.
There was a lot of reasons, some of which I can't explain here, for reasons. But the numbers that I post on the docket are like pretty much what I would be going for. And when you see it reduced, there's a lot of reason that comes behind it. If
Yeah, I have all the plea deals that have been signed and everything notated, and
yeah.
there's one where it was time served, 30K fine for 3 times accessory to murder.
What? Wait, I signed that?
No, not you. No. All the plea deals that have been done overall.
Where is that a recent one?
Let me double check date. Is this? I can't tell if this is ISO or not. This is 0408. This is on the docket sooner than that. I think it's ISO format.
Did you need a minute, Junior?
Oh, so wait, what is it, like a month ago or
I think it's a month ago from the way this is.
what's the
framed.
title? Like, who are the is it a closed case?
Close case of Maggie Gunn.
Oh, I don't know too much about that one. Yeah, those ones bother me. So friend deals bother me. And sometimes people don't realize they're doing a friend deal, Even like, let's say a criminal like Sag farms you a little bit and then you get into it's just bad for everybody at that point, right? So
It becomes the expectation for everybody at that point.
yeah, exactly. It's like, you know what a good, how there's like the he gets it cops or the she gets it cops, right? Versus the people that are just trying to do things the way.
I mean,
You know,
I
it
don't
was
want
The
to
tale
speak
as old
for
as
her.
time.
I don't
Yeah,
want to
back
speak for
and
her, but
looking
isn't
at
this
it.
literally why Angel put in the den stuff?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I made that.
It is in ISO format. It was last month on the 4th.
What if I were to tell you that's still happening? By the way, it's
Looking at the
embarrassing.
Sophie Sanders one too, and that one was like 60K fine, time served.
Yep.
I am looking at this right, so yeah.
Is there a way, actually, while we're taking a break, is there a way for us to know if someone's given non-Den Act times and fines?
We'd have to manually verify it.
Oh.
When the
So,
act was
like,
created, it
on a
was
per
the
thing?
provision of the high commands and the marshals to verify that personally.
Yeah, because like
I don't think it's
Yeah,
been
no.
something that's been stressed in any of the police training over the last year, though. To be frank with you,
Yeah.
as part of the SOP project that we've been going through, Brian, there's some outdated guidelines in there that people have been operating by. So I think that this might fall on us to stress upon the police department, the enforcement of that.
Yep. I feel like our biggest challenge is the me syndrome. You know?
People feel special.
Yeah, like, hey, yeah, where every moment is that that person's moment. You know what I mean? We have a lot.
Mhm.
I'll call that the me syndrome. You know?
I feel like there's also a thing where people don't want to be the bad guy in a scenario going
Yep.
to with,
Yes.
sentencing and things like that, you know, for plea deals and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, you ain't wrong. It takes the fear out too, you know what I mean? One guideline that I try to tell our officers is that your case should already be, your trajectory should be already on you're going to win in court before you throw that plea deal down. And so that if they say no, you say, I bet. You know what I mean? And then you go the whole 9 yards. But the moment you are giving a flaky plea deal because you're scared it might not, you know, come to, let's say, a good resolution, not necessarily a win in court, but at least a good argument, you're going to let the criminals taste the blood in the water, and they're never going to make deals with you again. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, we saw a couple of those. I'm going to be honest with you. Now we were going through them, myself and Roman, and there was definitely one there, and I can't even remember who it was. But somebody was charged for like 5 different hag offenses, and the plea deal had none of the hag offenses. Like, if you're willing to drop all of those things purely to get a conviction, you didn't believe in those things.
That was the Maggie gun one. They dropped it down to manslaughter and
How many hag offenses were there in the initially?
2 times. Let me check. 2 times accomplice to murder, 2nd degree, and 3 times accomplice to 3 times accomplice to 2nd degree murder.
So
Chat,
there's 5 murders.
Brian the
attached, and they
Diplomat
played it down to
Knight.
1 times manslaughter.
2 times manslaughter, 1 times possession of a tampered
But
firearm.
no hags. Like
No
5
hags.
hags gone for a plea deal. They didn't want to go to court.
That was 30 months and a $15K fine. That was the plea deal. The original time was 6 and 2 mil. Correction, 1 mil. I can send you this if you want it, Knight.
you know what? I love being miserable nowadays. I feel like at any moment I'm going to start making like Nathaniel Crane grunts. I already caught myself doing it a couple times, and I'm like, I think that's how he got that like grunt tick, you know, that he used to have.
Are you turning gray?
Yeah, I'm starting to see a few gray hairs in there, actually, Brian.
Yeah, I think there might be a couple. You know what I
You
mean?
might need to get that dyed.
One day I'll do fun shit again. You know what I mean? Actually, I'm doing fun shit. This is just, you know. Oh man. Yeah, I think it's such a, we can reset a standard. I think I like the idea of there being letterhead that comes from our unit, so at least sets a bit of a standard. Not only so, at least when y'all see like a court case getting put up, or a plea deal, you know it's coming from us. And by us, I don't mean just BCSO. We have like, you know, I made sure to involve
Joint task
LSPD.
force, yeah.
Yeah, that it's like, this is different, right? And that might not be the perfect solution, but it is at least a solution. You know what I mean? And at least that way too, if there's questions or concerns, let's say, on quality on certain aspects of the case, you know who you can go to, because we will be overseeing those things, right? Okay, well, I'm ready to talk about the next thing.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know where crossing up to, but it's immaterial.
Yep. Are any of y'all conflicted on? I don't even know. There's like so many of these. Where did it start? The appeal?
No, none of them should be conflicted. They don't have any judges over them.
Okay,
The only
but then we
person,
may not be
that
able
was
to
involved
talk to them
was-
about it, right?
Well, there's the initial case.
I'm going to talk to Angel just real quick on the side. I don't want to
Okay.
inadvertently conflict you guys.
Mm.
Yeah, we don't want to ruin things, you guys.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Hey.
I
Hi.
was about to bring up the other thing, and then I realized, wait, I might conflict all them by accident.
Oh yeah, good fucking
I mean,
idea. Actually,
they-
that. Well,
they
you
are
can't
all
really
conflicted.
conflict them because they're all involved.
Yeah, but we have to be
This isn't
careful.
something-
No, listen. I get what you're saying on principle, but it is very dangerous for us to make that determination and then that being blown up in our face, right?
I sort of understand where you're coming from, but I also don't think it's something they could deal with.
I was obviously during that conversation late, and I was very much so in and out. How did it end, and how do you guys feel it went overall?
Well, it's not over yet.
It's not ending.
Yeah, we're about to
Oh.
speak to him about the other thing.
We're figuring out the next angle now.
Am I correct in saying this is maybe we set up a meeting with those that are involved?
Well, Grayson and Ma are directly named in the ACR that I filed, so they're both in there. Ma was the
Okay.
initial judge presiding over the initial case.
So
It depends on what angle you want to talk about here in terms of like what they're conflicted.
maybe
from.
I'm going to
Like,
talk very generically then.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Okay.
I'd approach it on it. Junior, just a quick one. I don't
Alright.
mean this in any way hostile either at all. If the LSPD are about a legislative authority meeting, would you just call one of us so that we can
Yeah.
be present too?
Yeah, I will do.
Thank you.
Okay.
It was literally a last minute thing. I was like, what the fuck?
No,
are you
I
doing?
understand that, and this isn't me complaining either. I just think it would be it'd just be nice to create an even playing field where we're all getting the information from the horse's mouth, right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Sure,
I'll talk very generically on the matter. I think we need to talk to the direct folks so it doesn't
well, they're both in there.
Oh, they are both in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. I'm going to start talking very generically on this, and then I'm hoping that if you know what I'm talking about, you can tell me whether or not you're conflicted, because I'm nervous to unintentionally conflict you guys, right? And so there were matters recently pertaining to a court case, which Ma, you were involved in, and Frost and Angel were involved in.
Are we talking
Or
about
a docket filing.
civil action Hanabara Mayberry versus Arnold Frost, Haley Maxwell, SPD Moss, and Richard?
Is that the one?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be.
I believe that's the case. Yeah.
Is that something we can
Personally-
talk about in here?
Personally, I am conflicted. There is already a resolution on it.
Ava.
And I can tell you why I'm conflicted.
Wait,
if you
where's
need to.
Ava?
She just
Oh,
woke.
she's
She had
here.
a
She's
headache.
just taking a nap under this.
Oh,
chair.
okay.
That's a map.
She's standing
Right.
up. Yeah, she's good.
Oh, there she is.
You good, Ava? You okay?
I don't think she'll be able to hear us. She will have to. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
She's good.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm conflicted from it too, so doesn't matter for me.
Okay, so we can. What about Ava? So all four of you guys I can speak to about that, or
Ava, are you conflicted about the Hanabara Mayberry civil case?
Yeah.
okay, fantastic. As transparency's sake, I have been so I've had so much shit on my plate that I've not been able to go through everything. However, I am overall very concerned where things may end up. Now, here is my perspective as, and this goes back to the, I'm going to use Peter's phrase, everyone love each, what, I don't know what the fuck his phrase is. I don't
Everyone
want
love each other in this room.
Yeah, I don't want
That's
DOJ and PD to go to war over some shit, right? But as a outside observer, here is my perspective, and I did try to get this resolved about 2 weeks ago. Let's just say I don't think it worked out. Maybe, I don't know. But I know there are certain aspects of the docket, let's say, that are very ethereal. And when it comes to a docket case, different parties are going to have a different perspective as to what is transpiring. I am of the personal opinion, one that I'm not going to force onto this room and others, that there needs to be a level of professionality by all parties, unless there is a clear intent of non-professionality. I will use a example, one of which I believe we have discussed at one point, is many years ago, 7 years ago, we used to have we would have court cases, and PD might go in there and it's very serious for them, but the defense decides it's SBS. And now, unfortunately, a judge is having to sort of figure out what the energy in the room is, right? And that's a very difficult thing to do, right? Because understandably, you're not knowing what's the content is, right? Like what the contents of the case is. Otherwise, you'd be conflicted. We don't understand it so far. Any confusion?
Yeah.
Okay. And so at some point there was a lot of back and forth, right? And the One Piece picture and the ethereal button clicking, and now I don't know where this train is going to stop, right? As per seen on the docket. I would like us to come to some sort of meaningful resolution instead of wherever this may end up. I think the most specific concern, and Angel, please do correct me if I'm wrong, since I've been, sipping from the fire hose, is that was there legal authority for a contempt, which is now leading us down the road to finding out that maybe the penal code charges were now altered to now say time fine is at judicial discretion. This is despite there being very clear conclusion in a court filing about 9 months back, where the conclusion being that the penal code must be reflective of what is in legislation, because the penal code is legislation. Where I'm going with this is it's opening up a massive Pandora's box, and I want to put all that in Pandora's box back in the damn box. You know what I mean? In a way that is both legal, compromising, and doesn't end up having both our trains crash into the damn wall. Am I? So is it?
As far as I'm aware, the charge for the written penal code charge for contempt of court has always stated that. It's never been edited.
Angel, could
It's
you
always say judicial discretion?
Could you give like a bit of a because I know this entire room, including myself, do not know every single one of the details.
Sure.
But maybe the line, like the plot lines of what we have seen,
I mean, I can be pretty detailed. I can be pretty sparse. Where do you want me to start? What specifically are you looking for? Just a description of like how I perceive things so far, or?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then maybe what you have sort of uncovered.
All right. Well, I will say this then. The other night, I was going through some documentation, and I noticed there were some concerns. There was what appeared to be some contradictory logic. There was important pieces missing from certain aspects of the MDT, and I filed an injunction. I'm sure most of you here have had a chance to read it or have had a chance to glean it, and if you haven't, I'm sure you can go and take a look at it. In this injunction, I pointed out how there are very strict legal definitions for a lot of the terms that we use in the law worlds. Contempt of court has a definition, judicial discretion, the penal code, the legislation, and how it is applied. They all have very important descriptions. Now, in this case, I pointed out how the MDT penal code does not accurately reflect the legislation that supports it in terms of the wording and the punishment that it supports. And we had, I essentially just elucidated or explained on this argument a little bit further in my junction, explaining how these very important pieces being missing are actually quite a big deal, because it means that there is no room for a judge to hallucinate a punishment, even as at the previous written definition of the penal code definition, it would be time and fine would be at the discretion of a judge. The problem is that is not supported in legislation anywhere. It's also not supported in any of the judicial powers. It is not supported in due process. It's not supported anywhere that a judge can come up with a time or a fine for contempt of court. I pointed all this out in this injunction, and I submitted it, and it was received and reviewed. Now, my problem with the reviewing of this injunction is that in response to it, there were some concerning arguments that was used. The first one is that the arguments around judicial discretion was completely skipped. The presiding justice did not acknowledge this argument, nor did he even attempt to acknowledge it. Rather, he moved quickly on to the point of the contempt of court charge itself, and he very succinctly put in this argument that should we follow this chain of logic, which you can read the injunction for yourself, was partially agreed upon to be correct, the HAG charges would therefore be unable to be having a time or a fine applied to them that wasn't greater than 0 months and $0 in fine. So this justice took it upon themselves to then enter into their ruling the decision that now all MDT entries for these HAG charges will be updated to include judicial discretion.
Yeah,
the issue I take with this is that it's very clear that any updates to the penal code must be supported and backed by legislation.
which case law is.
I disagree. I don't believe that a response to that injunction is case law.
So here, now, I would like to sort of point at where the direction of this train is going, right? And it's not one that I think behooves either party, especially if there is a more middle ground legislative approach that we can take, right? Now, once again, I want to stipulate that I do not know the finer details, but a lot of this kind of goes and stems back at that initial Hanna-Barbera thread, or docket posting, and effectively an argument over whether contempt should or should not be applied. Is it legal?
Did you lower your voice, Brian?
Yeah, did you stop
just-
listening?
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Sorry about that.
Still,
Well, you did it
Wait,
again.
is it better?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Is it
did.
better
Yeah,
now?
there you
No,
go.
you're
There you
Okay, sorry about that. I was waving my head around. I'll start from top. So I kind of want to point at like kind of the direction this train is going, right? And I think these are, because I'm a nerd, I'm very excited sitting on the sidelines eating my popcorn, right? Curious as to where the legal conclusion of this goes. But I also realized that I probably shouldn't sit on the sideline and eat the popcorn, because the direction of this train sounds very scary, quite frankly. And And instead, I would like us to consider a more reasonable legislative approach that solves this a different way. But all of this is stemming from the original Hannaberry post, docket posting. I think that the energy in those postings are sort of all over the place, where some are looking at it understandably with a level of seriousness, while others may not as much, right? And it has surmounted to this, where 2 weeks ago, when I was first made aware of this, 2 weeks ago, was it 3 weeks ago? I don't know. My general conclusion at the time was there were things happening that probably should not be happening, and I equate it to we need to nip this shit in the bud, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm asking for this room's assistance, everybody, to help us get there. What is your perspective in general on this, Grayson? Stemming all the way back from the initial posting.
So
yeah.
I didn't take the case myself because the individual involved, Hanna-Barbera Mayberry, signed the forums for impeachment against me from Moose Knuckles. I see that as a conflict of interest. If I ruled for her, it would be look like I'm trying to appease somebody who signed that. If I ruled against her, it would look like I am doing so punitively. So I stepped aside. I did not engage, right? I did, however, when a magistrate asked me, like, can I take this case, authorize the magistrate to enter, right? At some point, I got told, and I think it was by Judge Archie McRae, that a request had been made as to who had authorized her to enter the docket, right? So I looked. Angel had made such a request. I provided information publicly that I was the one who authorized her to take the case. At the same time, I asked the rest of the judges to, somebody to step up and, form a panel with her, right? I think at that point, Ava and Ma said they would. Ma did, right? That was my engagement with her, right? I read Angel's requests. She had two separate requests of me to make affirmative statements in regards to conduct and whatever on the docket. I chose not to. I stated why I wasn't going to, because I believe the presiding judicial panel, the judicial authority on those cases, can do so and answer those questions. I don't need to do it. As a justice, I need to step aside and be off that as much as is humanly fucking possible, so that if shit goes to appeal or whatever, I can engage at that point. Maybe have to waive my conflict at that point to engage at that point. But like, justices should not be stepping into active court cases that have judicial authority sitting on them and engaging in undermining that authority. That is actively contempt of court. And the request to make me do so, on my opinion, is asking me to perform a crime. So, nope, not doing that. That's my opinion on what happened on that.
Wait, say that last bit. You cannot. I feel like I might be missing
the request made of me, right, was to undermine the sitting judicial authority on that case, which is actively contempt of court. I was not going to do that, so I declined that. Angel made that request of me.
No, but who is the sitting?
Yilong Ma and at that time Maybella Loaf.
Who's Maybella Loaf?
She was a magistrate. She's now a judge.
Okay. All right.
He was the original judge on that case. What up, Gates?
Oh, welcome to the party, Miss Gates. How are you today?
Hey guys, things.
Your sugar baby payment of $500,000 has been delivered to your account.
Fucking get in there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in the middle of something, Gates. We're in the middle of something.
I know. I'm just letting him know that because he won't answer the phone that his requested, like our required refund to him has been paid.
Okay, is Gates conflicted on this?
I don't know. Gates, can you deal with anything in relation to Hanna-Barbera Mayberry on the case? Are you taking the appeal or anything? Because if you are, you should probably step out.
that the one that you're gonna have to mistrial? I recommend
No,
you
it's
mistrial on paper, or is it
no.
one?
There's a
That's
resolution, but it's the one that the contempt of court might spring from. So if you're gonna the appeal on the
Yes,
contempt,
I said
you
I'd
might
take the appeal on the contempt. Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
That's my engagement.
I personally don't appreciate the framing of that you communicated it to me in that way. And that's not at all what you
We
said on the
can
docket.
read it directly. What I said.
I would encourage you to do so.
Okay, let's do so.
Yeah. All right. Let me see. Where is this is the Hannaberry one?
You made the request. I said, okay, clarifying only. Magistrate Loaf was given permission to oversee this civil case by myself. Everything else can be dealt with here by the presiding judge panel. Then I left. That was
Which
it.
is in no way what you just explained to us.
Well, I don't need to give you my internal logic. I got the fuck off the docket because I don't want to be
But
involved.
I understand that, but you're telling us here that you communicated one thing to me that you did not.
No, I said what I communicated to you. I said, hey, look, Magistrate Loaf. And then I said, this is why I didn't do any more. I'm giving you more context.
Okay.
Well, I have the context now.
Okay. So I think this is
this a misunderstanding?
Possibly. I'm trying to
Is it possibly just
I mean, like, here's the thing, right? In the
Who's
ACR
laughing?
that's being filed against me, it says that I ignored the motion directed towards me,
okay.
which I didn't. I didn't ignore it. I responded to you. That's my take on
I
it.
think
No, you did not respond to me
I
personally.
directly responded to you. I answered your
No.
question and told you to ask the presiding judge panel everything else.
Okay.
You made a broad statement saying that the judges can deal with the motions. You did not respond to me.
Okay.
Who else am I talking to?
You're talking to the entire docket. There's a lot of people involved
You're
here.
the one who made requests, and I responded directly
Okay.
in the post after
So-
your post.
Okay. So I
having a meeting in there.
wait, why do we hear
why are we
voices?
hearing
I
them?
don't know. I
Give
wouldn't
me
tell
a
them.
minute, I'm
Is
gonna
it
tell-
locked?
No, I'll get them.
It is
Alright.
locked. I don't know why people are
No
sitting
one's
up
here.
there.
Look, can you guys move away? We can hear you for some reason. I appreciate it. Thank
The
you.
door's locked?
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Hey, I'll talk to the construction guy.
Yeah, they can't hear us apparently, but we can hear them.
Okay. All right. All right. So, this is how long ago is this? Like 3 weeks ago?
August 20th, so about a month ago.
Okay. So here's, I don't want to, there is going to be a different, I'm going to put, I'm going to try to play diplomat here a little bit. All right. There is, I'm going to go with, let's say there's a miscommunication here, right? With what Ava's saying. There is communication on the docket in pertaining to what I personally observe as unprofessional behavior, and it in turn amounted with this docket getting very, very heated. In turn, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the question of whether or not a contempt could be placed has now been raised into question. I think for the direction, give me a second. Let me pull up this exact thing. Give me a sec here. I don't know the details of this is the problem. Give me a sec. Pulling up the exact post here. Am I blind? I don't see your post on this. It's the appeal for Hannaberry, right?
I post. It's let me find it.
It's number
No, it's
25
number 25
on page 2.
Oh, there's more than one. Oh. On page 2. All right. On page 2, Hannaberry, post number 20. All right.
Should have called from Pizza Gang saying they're going to human traffic me tomorrow.
We'll make sure that doesn't happen.
What was it, Papa
Conflicted.
John's?
Thank you for the confliction.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you
Uh,
hit everybody.
Okay. There are so many posts. All right. I'm going to open each one of these up separately because I am not finding it.
You want me to share it with you directly?
No. I got all of them. Just give me 2 seconds here. I think I opened them and then I moved the tabs around and I'm lost.
He probably just put them out of order.
Yeah.
I send you a direct link to the post I made.
Okay. So okay. All right. It started. Oh, I was on the right one. And then entered as counsel for the defendant starting 425 and then and this appeal was, I'm glad my response is met again. Okay, Grayson, could you say what you said again? Now that I'm seeing this in a bit more context, it would have been contempt had you were the overseeing
Yes.
justice, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not overseeing justice on this. There's no overseeing justice. It had a judicial authority on it. It had,
Okay,
at this point, it had Magistrate Loaf, who is now a judge, and it also had eventually Yi Long Ma enter. Right, so there was 2 judicial authorities on this. There's no overseeing justice.
okay, but like when you posted in this, like what was like what were you coming in as an authority?
What-
Were you
No, I was posting specifically because the question was asked which justice provided the authority for Loaf to take that case, right? And that was me. I gave her permission, so I entered to give that context to be like, hey, look, yeah, I gave permission
okay, and
because the question was asked, why do you have the authority to take this case?
when that happens, do you become an overseer? Like, does the justice oversee it? What the
Nope.
magistrate's doing?
Nope. It's a civil case. I need to be able to assess and see. It's like when somebody becomes a PPO, right? They suddenly have they get some latitude to do their shit so we can assess their work. If it gets appealed, then other people need to be able to step in to oversee it at that point, right? We don't have the manpower to assign FTOs to watch over cases that magistrates are doing. That's not the way it works. We don't have enough people for that.
So this is new information for me, so I'm trying to like make sense of this. So what do you do in a case like this? I think is that something we knew, Angel?
Yes.
Okay. That okay.
I don't really think personally, I don't really think it has any relevance. It's not in contention that he has the ability to authorize the magistrate's explicitly written permission.
Okay.
I don't think anyone here is concerned about that portion.
Okay. It was specifically the response, right?
Right. The main contention that I have here is that these motions were put forward, specifically requesting a justice to reply to them. Grayson chose to not acknowledge them and delegate the responsibility to the judge panel, which is,
That's not ignoring. I
suppose,
responded.
Okay, you chose to delegate the responsibilities to the judges, who then
No,
chose to ignore the motions and issue contempt and proceed with scheduling. And I'm being very careful towards here because I don't want to like load them with language. But you chose to delegate the responsibility to them as it was their responsibility from the get-go, and you did not want to respond to them for whatever reasons. Am I mischaracterizing that?
Yes, I've already explained my reasons. I've given you my reasons here today.
So I think if I can reframe it, and Angel, please tell me if I'm not reframing it properly, is that there was an attempt to raise a concern to a higher authority. You tried to raise a concern to a higher authority, right, Angel?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And is that a function that we have today in our system, Grayson, from your understanding?
No. No. The reality is, if you believe you have a due process violation and you believe that, you know, it needs to be mistrial, it is incumbent on you. It is legislated that as an attorney, you must file for a mistrial. And then I step in when it has to get rescheduled a second time, right? That's due process. That's the way that works.
I think I think
due process, look in due process. It's right there under mistrials. It says that if you're a judicial power or an attorney and you believe a due process violation has occurred, that you must file for a mistrial. It is a duty.
And then you file for misconduct separately?
Yep. We have bar complaints, we have impeachments, we have ACRs after the fact, right? That is due process.
I think the concern that's being raised here, Grayson, and I don't and I want to be clear for the entirety of the room, my goal here is not for any kind of like gotchas or whatever, right? This is for bringing the like everything back into the Pandora's box, is that it is perceived by us, the readers, not necessarily pointing out an intent, is that post of clarity we took as you having acknowledged by virtue of knowing there's something on the docket, right? Posting something on docket. The docket's a very mysterious place. What is entering? What is it? But by posting on it, it appears that you kind of got in there and then you said that, but there was more context as to why you did what you did.
Here's the context. The context is like flat out. A judge came to me and was like, "Hey, Angel said on this docket, and I've gone back through the records and seen that you're the one who gave permission. Can you get on there and tell them that you're the one who gave permission?" So I did. Like, I did not read this docket. I did not engage in this docket. I just got in, saw the last thing because I was told Angel had made a request of me, and provided context and answered what I could answer. Right? That's what happened there. I did what I thought I had to do. Because, as I said again, I was avoiding that one specifically because it involved somebody who had signed the petition to get me impeached. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Right.
So.
Well, I don't really know where to go from here, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of this conversation is to explicitly outline the concerns, and when the concerns are ignored, like, what else is there to be said?
I think
I don't think the concerns are being ignored. You filed an appeal for your contempt of court. Justice Gates is outside the room right now because he's taking it. If you wanted to, what you filed ACRs and ACRs against myself and Mark
3 weeks ago.
Okay, and we both know why that did not get dealt with. So what do you want me to do with that?
But then I resubmitted again, which you communicated to me I should do.
I cannot file an ACR against myself, Angel. What do you want me to do?
You're supposed to communicate it to me so that either I could post it or you could post it. What do you mean?
No. It's an acceptance. A justice has to accept it. I cannot accept an ACR on myself.
And has
it's
anyone
not
accepted
personal.
it?
I can't do it. Who can do that?
That's a good question. Who could?
A justice. So not me.
Listen, I don't understand why you're bringing that energy with me. I'm just
Because
asking
you're
for some
bringing that
clarifying
energy
questions.
with an
You know,
accusation.
Hold on.
I think we need to go
interrupt
back
you
to
both.
respectful
I'm
tones in
sorry.
this room.
I'm sorry to interrupt this, but this is at the point where if everyone is all right with it, I would like to put my 2 cents in for what it's worth. I see us going in circles here, and that is not productive. Everybody, I think, has better things to do with their time than be stood in this room talking about the same thing over and over again, just in different ways. And
I don't really fully understand.
I think the best thing to do right now.
I'm trying to
is
like
for
hone in
everybody
on what's
just to
going on.
Say, what do you want to see happen now? Regardless of protocols, anything, what do you want to see happen? Because when I read the docket, I see a lot of feelings, okay? I see feelings and reactions. That is not, it's not necessary to put that into certain things. I see a lack of professionalism in a lot of places that where it shouldn't be. And I think everybody can, take accountability for that in their own right if they just, privately look into yourself. But right now, there's a disagreement here in what information was received and what information was delivered. And I think
I don't know what the
problem
combat is.
how
I'm starting to get
is
it,
not
but
a place where tonality is easy to understand. If you read something from somebody and you think it's hostile, you're going to read it and it's offensive. But the other person may not mean that. Like, I'm sorry if I'm blabbing a bit, but I'm autistic. I have Asperger's. Sometimes I talk to people, I'm talking regular to me in my mind. They are receiving it as me being aggressive, hostile, blunt, whatever. Meanwhile, me, I'm over here thinking everything is fine. So tonality is very important on a docket because you can't tell that. And for us to move forward, I think we need to find a way to not be right or not make somebody else come around to our way of thinking and just say, where can we meet in the middle? Where can we agree to disagree? But where can we find a way to move forward from here? Because we can't undo this. This is done. So we need to make peace with it, fix it if it's possible. If not, we need to move on from it and find a way to not have it repeat again. Does that make sense?
Sure. Okay. Let me try again. Let me start from the beginning. I was conflicted on a court case. I entered when I was told a request had been made of me. I answered in what I thought was the best way possible and affirming what you needed to know. And then I excused myself, right? Because honestly, at that point, I actively believe that the requests being made of me were being made to, basically slap down judicial authority, show contempt to the authority of the court. To me, that is contempt of court. I'm not going to do it. So I moved aside. Now, when I became aware that you were still upset about the conduct on the thing, outside of all of this, I attempted multiple times to figure this out. Me and Frost had a conversation for about an hour outside of the courthouse in the north one day. You, Frost, remember, right? Where we were hashing it out and trying to get to a point where we could maybe get everybody in a room and hash it out, right? It's not.
I
like
don't
I've
believe I was
ignored
party
the
for any
concepts.
conversation like that.
I've had multiple phone calls with you since then.
Yes, and
You
every
haven't got
time
to a
every time I
resolution.
tried to speak with it, you informed me that you couldn't make any further determinations because you were conflicted.
Because you're ACRing me, obviously. I can't be the person who fixes. This is where I'm struggling. This is where I'm at. I cannot fix this. I can't be the person who engages and does it. It would be horrible form for me to pick up the ACR or to, because here's the reality. I read the ACR against me and I would not accept it. I don't think there's enough grounds for an ACR. I'm going to be real. But obviously I'm biased. It's me. That's not a personal attack against you. That is me being biased. I can't do that. Somebody else has to do it, right? I can't make other people do things about this. I'm in a no-win position. I'm in an absolute no-win position because I'm the one who's literally, you're the one, you call me to fix it, and I can't fix it, Angel. I can't do it. I don't know what you want from me. I really don't.
May I, and I apologize to everyone in the room here because I have maybe my goal is find some kind of resolution here, right? but I also only have 10% of the knowledge here. So please, when I ask a question, don't get too offended here. The impeachment is that on the docket or was that
It's an ACR.
I never filed an impeachment.
Oh, ACR. The ACR was like given to you directly?
It was given to a magistrate.
It was given to a magistrate. The magistrate put it in, it internally communicated it to us, right?
Yeah.
So we're aware of it. We've seen it. I don't know why anybody hasn't dealt with it. I don't know.
I think
I've asked a million times. I ask daily for it to get put up because I'd rather go 10 toes in and fight my case in court. That's the way I work.
I think from the outside perspective here, and Angel, please tell me if I'm aligned here, is even just hearing that, I'm getting a little very confused. I want to tell you the energy I would feel if I was on the other side of that, is that just as we as an organization, if something came to our high command and I couldn't do something or someone else couldn't do something, like there would be a general expectation that there would be forward momentum. Like, let's say, I don't know, like my brother is done something. I'm like, I can't take this case. Someone comes to me with a complaint. I can't take this case, but I'm going to make sure someone takes it and runs with it. Right. From our perspective, it sounds like, it was given to a magistrate, then given to you, but then it's just kind of
it wasn't
in limbo.
Given to me directly. It was given to everybody, right? It was put up for everybody to see, right? So it was given to a magistrate, and then questions were asked of the state to assess it, right? The state came back with a resolution. It then got resubmitted, right? Once it got resubmitted, once again, but
the ACR,
right? Because the ACR. But because it's me, it's not like I can be like, "Hey, Ava, take this for me, will you?" I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't make one of these people take it. I can't make anybody take it.
It sounds like there's a lot of context going all the way back, even to maybe this is why I've been in this like loop myself here as just a reader, is like, why isn't all of this in, and this genuine question, why isn't all the context on the docket or the reasoning on the docket or what's going on with this ACR thing on the docket or some sort of published, like as Angel, the filer, it sounds like there's content and context that's missing that by virtue of the stage that's being set is she's rightfully going to be,
Here's the context. Here's the context. It was submitted initially, right? And as I said, it got relayed to the state, right? For the state to give context on. Things needed to get edited and resubmitted. By the time it was resubmitted, right, we are now at the point where everything else went on the docket from Angel, right? Within the day. So the injunction, the contest of the appeal, right? We have 4 justices. Basically, everything she put on had to have a justice assigned to it. I'm conflicted on all of it because she's ACRing me, right? Sean's on an LOA at the moment, leaving Gates and Falconer to deal with all of it. I don't know. You ask them.
Listen, and I'm gonna say this with no venom. I just think that a lot of this could be avoided if, as the departments, as the justices, that you guys would be willing to step up and take accountability for the conduct of the people in the judiciary. That is explicitly a permission that is granted to you. It is an expectation of you. Just like if I had a deputy that was misbehaving or was acting improper, there would be corrective action in kind. So the reason that these things are occurring, from your ends, it might seem a bit over the top, but there is essentially no action perceivable to me that is moving forward. There's no movements. There's no communication. There's nothing but what appears to be delaying, denying, and defending allegations of misconduct. And so you can see why, from my perspective, it is very difficult to engage with the process that you outlined to me without escalating it even further.
Thank you.
To these postings that are on the docket.
Okay, and I'm left here answering questions for the institution, not myself, even though I'm personally being ACR'd myself. I can't. It's such a conflict of interest. I don't know how to engage it. 'Cause, like, here's the
I
thing.
get that, Grayson. But I
Sorry, is everybody good on food?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I could use some.
Yeah.
I wanted. Here's something to consider, though, right? I kind of get what you're saying, right? You're saying that you're kind of in some cuffs, but the thing is, even for the very reason we had to be like, well, is anyone conflicted? Who the hell do we talk to then? You know what I mean?
That's what
That,
I mean.
like,
Gates and
what-
Volga.
No, I'm.
So what I'm getting at is, Angel, right? Like, so, like, the things I could do. If you wanted me to take the ACR on Ma, right? It would physically look, because, like, here's the thing. I'll pick shit up and get it scheduled, right? That's the way I work all the time. That's the way I like to work. I'll just pick it up, get it scheduled, get it done, right? I think I did the fastest ever impeachment with Kane, right? Like, I'm down to do it. I have no objection to sending my friends to jail or firing them if necessary. Like, that is what it is.
Thank you so
It's
much.
part of the job.
You're
I've sent everybody from Buck Stanton, who was the justice who hired me as a judge, to jail, to fucking
anything?
Alan Crane to jail, right? Like, I'm willing to hand out punishments to anybody. It's not an issue.
No, I'm good, thank
But
you.
if I picked up the ACR on Ma, right, and separated it out from mine, and just dealt with that, anything I did, if I ruled in
Done,
Ma's
thank you.
favor, it'd look like I'm acting against you because I'm being ACR'd. And if I ruled in your favor, it looked like I'm sucking up to you to get you to drop the ACR. Like, even if we had an agreement, that would not happen.
Well,
I
listen.
can't win. It's a no-win situation for me.
The whole point of an ACR is not to get you fired. It's not to drag you down and make you miserable. The whole point of it is to resolve conflicts. Because I'm saying, and I'm making accusations of potential misconduct, and I, as a petitioner, am seeking there to be a resolution. And if you personally think that there is no resolution to resolve and you want to fight it, then I suppose that's well within your right. You don't have to engage with me in an open conversation. But the point of me filing this ACR is not to ruin your life. It is to address what I appear to be misconduct and to get it seen and heard and not ignored.
Angel, 100%. If we could do this right here, right now, in open court and put up a state announcement, me and you go toe-to-toe in the courtroom, nothing would make me happier.
How does that
That's all I want to
happen?
do.
How does that happen? Who needs to do it? Can I do
A
it?
justice? No, a justice needs to
All
take it
right.
because a justice needs to accept it. They could then delegate it out and let you hear it.
Okay.
Like,
Let's do
I'm
that then.
down. I'm down.
Let's make that
I'm
happen.
I'm averse to that. I'm not trying to put up roadblocks to that. I'm, like, more than happy.
There is, and this is good question to both of y'all. I'm gonna say something. Let me know if I'm completely off base.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing all of this fly on the wall, it kind of sounds like there's this. We don't have a communication path for situations like this, due to the fact that the person that we can, like right now, the only people we can talk to are the ones that are conflicted. We can't talk to the ones that are unconflicted because they need to be on the case. So
Wait, hold on, let me
when
show you
there's,
something.
go ahead.
I have a piece of legislation I've drafted, and this may be the resolution. The thing is, obviously, it's being raised when justices are being impeached, and there's a potential they may lose the job, that it shouldn't directly go to another justice, right? Because of alleged conflicts of interest, right? So I wrote a piece of legislation which amends the impeachment procedure. And this, to be honest, I've been waiting until all this shit got resolved so we can push it so it didn't look like I'm trying to fix stuff for myself, right? Impeachment and ACRs 2.0. Okay. Can I get state IDs?
1130.
Angel, Brian?
1157.
29.
I think this is miscommunication
What was
because
hold
there
on, I
is
got 1130.
because
Angel,
all the
1157.
justices cannot be
1157?
conflicted. They also inherently cannot resolve things out of court.
29.
Like a lot of the stuff Grayson said could have
So
been
what
said.
this does is, I mean,
in a
I've only got
call.
it for impeachments, but I could make it for ACRs too. And it basically
Doesn't mean
says
they
that
need to
if
be
it
on the
is gonna
same
be somebody
page.
from the Department of Justice, you know, a justice being impeached,
It's a
that
decision
instead of
tree
going
loop.
to the
Yeah.
justices or, you know, hoping the state intervenes, which never happens, it would literally follow the same process, but it would go to the legislative authority body as the panel. So both mayors and the SAMA director to oversee. It's a way of avoiding it going directly to the governor every single time because, you know, the governor's time's so limited, it can't happen, right? In like providing a safety valve where it could go to a different body where they you know, convene, assemble, and vote on it internally. And then the people have some say too, and it provides like, you know, public and democratic accountability to the justices, which can sometimes be seen to be missing.
And I think this is all very good and wonderful. It's awesome, but it doesn't really help with this particular incident. Can I just speak plainly? Can I just just say something so we can just stop dancing around the issue? I'm just gonna say plainly. The resolution I want is I just want you to tell the One Piece guy to stop being a dick on the docket, and that's it. That's really all I want. You know, I'm willing to acknowledge some fault for some statements that I might have made in the docket posting. And you know, potentially walk back some of the rhetoric that I've been using.
Okay.
I just want an official acknowledgement for the Department of Justice that it's not proper to use One Piece reaction gifts in your motions, and
What about Demon Slayer?
you can't. Well, I mean, any anime really.
Oh my god, that was such a good movie.
And you can't insult the people on your docket posting while also issuing them a contempt ruling for what you perceive to be insulting behavior. It's hypocritical and it's contradictory. That is all I want.
All I want to clarify.
No. I'll listen to you afterwards. Listen to me, right? Ma, take it down from a 10 to a 7 on the docket. You understand me?
Oh yeah, sure. As long as McMoo and Love get their apologies or at least an acknowledgement that was uncalled for, I'm gonna do whatever. But from my understanding is like, what insults did I make? Because I only addressed exactly what was put on the docket.
You directly called me incompetent in your response.
I did not. I specifically said nobody on this. Yeah, pull it up because I specifically said nobody's incompetence on this docket was ever proven. Because you were saying that the magistrate was incompetent. I've literally said nobody was proven incompetent on this case.
If this is all about a misunderstanding, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Because my issue is that statements were made towards a new magistrate about their career choices, and then I understand where you were coming from, saying that another magistrate, without context of who the justification came from or the authority or what was it, the authorization to give it to, to go beyond their rank and then call about their incompetence as well and provide unfounded statements toward their bias, that I addressed.
That's all well and good, but that's not what the contention is here. I said the following. This is a quote from what I said. We are officially submitting a motion demanding that the presiding magistrate recuse themselves from this case. It is too complicated for their position. And you replied, for you, perhaps, but nothing is produced to substantiate anybody's ability. You specifically called me out, implying that I am incompetent or that this would be too complicated for me. So you can say that you didn't say that, but you did say that.
And didn't this say magistrate imply that I was incompetent too, due to being in a new role, right?
No, you just weren't aware of procedure.
Right.
Because you made a thing that nobody's asked for, is to refile something when they step down as a lawyer. Nobody, even when a lawyer has been handed off a case to another lawyer, has a case ever been refiled.
You know what a commonality here is? Is that there's a lot that is wanting to be said, but is not said. And leaving so much room for interpretation
an
assumption.
Yep.
And that is a problem in San Andreas for some reason. It's common. You could say something, and then because it's not just straightforward or dancing or whatever, it's like a sideways thing. Now everyone's running on like, what the fuck's going on? I just to go through some of these, right? Just for clarity, right? Now is when Frost is asking this question, he's asking genuinely, right? And the response that he's getting is, by the way, aren't you just some new sheriff? Who the fuck? What do you know? There isn't that what you're trying to bring up, Ma. That hey, there's another process, etc.
I think
How would you know that?
I'm
He's-
actively reading this, right? Because
Right.
obviously I
Yeah.
have,
There,
right?
there's
So
a lot
what
of
I'm
just.
getting from this.
Mm.
I'm getting that vibe of what happens when we get a cadet in court, and everybody just endlessly refers to them as cadet to undermine them. And even if it's not intentional, because you're just reflecting their rank, it comes across that way, right? So I think, like, to be fair for us, when you start and you're like magistrate this, magistrate that, people get a little touchy about that
I
shit,
mean,
right?
that's
Like
perspective.
the way you
I
got.
was calling her
yeah.
magistrate in a respectful way because she's a magistrate.
I
Right, but
know
that's
you.
where the
But if she
tonality
doesn't
issue
know
comes
you,
in,
yeah.
isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, but
'Cause
this
you
isn't a
can't tell
tonality
that.
issue for me. This is a direct.
No,
I was
not you.
like
I'm not talking about you.
No,
the,
but
the
what
way
I'm-
that
I'm
she
just
spoke to
saying
me
it's
was
being
unprofessional and
assumed.
inappropriate. And regardless of Ma seeing it as me not treating the process as it should have been, a response still shouldn't be unprofessional because it's like Knight said, I asked that seriously, right? So who gets to pick and choose whether we can be serious or not?
That's exactly it too.
None of us
I get it.
can.
Here's the
Truly.
thing. But here's the thing, right? Like, while I want Ma to bring it down, I don't want Ma to lose who Ma is, right? And I think everybody gets that. I don't want to strip all of Ma away from him to the point where he isn't Ma anymore. The reason we hire Ma is because he's not quite like everybody else. He's a bit weird.
That's fine, but he can't
My
be.
teacher
He
said I was
can't
special.
be. That's fine, but he can't be. And I'm gonna say this directly. Actually, you can't be speaking out of the side of your mouth and insulting people while also issuing contempt rulings to people for what you perceive to be insulting behavior. It's inherently contradictory, and it undermines your own post that you hold.
Yeah,
It's a reasonable position to hold. Like, it's not an unreasonable position, right, Ma?
Ma.
Because I'm more than happy to engage in. Listen, I think the verbal back and forth on the docket are totally whatever. That's part of the fun, really. Genuinely, is part of the fun. I didn't have any issues submitting those motions. I expected half of them to get struck down, wherever. I did it just for the sake of it and for following through for my clients and doing the best of what I could do for him. And I would expect responses in kind, but
Yeah.
we have to be reasonable here too, right?
It's kind of like clearly there's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and then that this shit's popping off, and then all of a sudden one person gets contempt. That's kind of
right.
strange,
exactly.
right?
That is
Okay. So,
essentially it.
all right, that's something back in. So, well, that's the issue, right? You kept doubling down with your behavior. That's why the contempt was issued.
But
Yeah, but this is where the inconsistency is because I doubled down on her behavior too and didn't get contempt.
No, you didn't.
right?
All you did was basically tell me, I don't agree with you. I agree with her. You want me to give you contempt for not agreeing with me?
Right, again, so you're picking and choosing.
No, but see,
That's exactly the
that's
problem.
The contempt I only have contempt when there's actionable stuff that needs to be what's the word for it?
So your
Handed
contempt was
contempt.
retaliatory then?
So
is what
you
you're telling me.
believe
It's
that
because of
by
the fact that her
me,
behavior in the docket is inherently.
you believe that by
Why-
me asking for further clarity and asking for further information
No, it's
from
the fact that you
Justice
kept
is
calling name calling
contemptuous?
people.
Wait.
The
No,
specific
let's
thing.
stop, Mark. 1 second, right? Let's read it because I'm looking at it right now. To suggest that I would be incompetent or incapable of understanding the usage of legislation I co-authored is reckless stupidity at worst, or an intentional insult from a schoolyard bully meant to degrade my reputation and station. Again, Judge
But-
Barr has shown his contemptuous statements and behavior that he too holds no regards for the sanctity of this court, nor does he care for the citizens of the state to be judged fairly in an unbiased trial. Here's the thing, Angel, right? If Bobby Charles or fucking, Carmine Costello said anything like that to anybody, they'd be going to jail. They'd be going to jail.
Whoa, hold
Yeah,
on,
but this
hold
is the
on,
problem then.
hold on, hold on, hold on.
I do not agree
The-
with that at all.
Here's
to be inconsistent,
we
right?
cannot. This
I feel like
energy.
we're taking steps backwards.
Yeah,
we were in a good spot. She took responsibility for some of the
Listen,
stuff
I
that she said, and
I
now
understand. You want to get
it's
a shot
getting
in.
riled up again. Look, I know I'm just a judge, but you guys I have to be fair about it, okay? Because believe me, there's a lot of stuff I don't like, and I get in my feelings about it, and I talk my shit privately about some of the frustrations I have with the level of disrespect that I get hit with sometimes. But I'm saying, if she's taking responsibility for some of the stuff, and she's saying, and she just said that, and now she's saying how she feels about it, and it's still, there has to be a give and take. If she's giving that, something has to be given in that direction as well.
Exactly.
So
let me be clear, right? Let me be clear, because I want to be clear, and I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea here. What I'm saying is, if we're going to call out the specific things that Ma said, then we should read out what Angel said too, right?
No.
In like the energy.
But you didn't
is being
even read out
reciprocated.
what Ma said.
Wait.
I didn't like the
But
first
no,
line of
other
what she
people
said. Was
did, though.
this is what has come to be expected of the DOJ, because I'm a part of the DOJ, and I don't think I'm disrespectful or rude or incompetent, but maybe other people think that. I don't know. But if I'm not involved in it at all, I don't know why I have to be, looped in with the DOJ as a whole. So of course I don't like that either. But this right here, you have to be able to, when people are giving an inch, that's how communication works. That's how resolution happens. You don't have to, I don't think either one of you is going to get to a point where you, oh yeah, that's what it was. Okay, fine. You're not going to like what was said. But if you're willing to say, you know what, I'm willing to walk back what I said about things, she said that. And it was just completely overlooked. And we're going back to, well, you did this.
Yeah.
She said what she said. You said what you said. She gave at least a little bit of an inch about what she said that was maybe inappropriate, but nobody's giving her back that something was said that was inappropriate about her. And if we want to be fair, we have to be fair.
I agree
What
with
about
Grayson
what?
that if you want the 10 down to 7, I'm done.
That's not giving. She took account. Okay.
Hold on.
She took accountability for some things that she said on the docket. She said a little while ago. Nobody, as far as I have heard, has said that maybe they said something that was disrespectful to her. And if she's willing to talk it out, we have to too.
I would also like to point out that I did not fire the first shot in this back and forth, and I responded in kinds. So,
Junior?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think
good?
that's a fair
So
assessment.
I replied with those statements because I had just been directly insulted by the presiding judge. So you can understand why I, a counselor, would be a little bit miffed or a bit off-put, or have some concerns or some things that I felt needing being said.
And
then
I
to
100% agree
back
with
on
you,
that,
Angel,
though-
that like he definitely inferred some shit. That's absolutely there. I'm not denying that.
I wouldn't even say he inferred. I would say he directly said that thing.
And to back on Angel's point, right? All of this started because I asked a genuine question and got insulted myself, right? Like, you guys are the Department of Justice. Like, why is that even happening in the first place? And for the excuse to be I was calling her a magistrate, she is a magistrate. How is that offensive? And it definitely doesn't deserve an insult back and a lapse in my capability from her perspective, right?
I get it, right? Because I trust you and I know you, Frost. I know that you wouldn't do it. But I can, like I said, I can also see that, in regards to some things, people use people's rank against them and they use it to undercut their authority.
But
like, she was the judicial power on that case.
But again, as petitioners and as people responding to the docket case, we need to know that this person actually has the authority. As is written in our legislation, whenever a magistrate is given the authority to take case, it has to be documented. And we need to know that. So how can we know that unless it's confirmed to us in some way?
I agree with that.
Right?
I don't mind making it standard.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with wanting to know that they actually have the authority that was given to them, right?
No, and asking the question is totally valid. I'd get it. Totally get it.
And just for future reference, then, since
Well, we know I was returning the same energy back. That's it.
But that's the thing here.
Hold on.
No.
Let me finish my part first, because the way I responded is because of the fact that I thought this entire thing was squashed once Frost said, "All right, I'll be professional." Then it got reopened up with Angel's entire thing. Then I responded with which is returning energy after that. I handed in contempt because it was doubled down afterwards. That was it.
Okay, but here's where this started with a small little pebble of a snowflake and then started to snowball, right? And the issue that we had with this is that, sure, returning everyone, it started on like page 1, like at the very beginning, right? And both sides, there is a energy, and it's a understood energy. But the moment like a contempt comes in, it's kind of like, what the fuck? It's like playing tag with someone your friends, and then all of a sudden one of them pulls a gun out and just blasts. I was like, what do you mean? I thought we were playing tag. You know what I mean? Now shit just got real. You know what I mean? And Angel here has apologized. It would be nice to get one on the other end of the spectrum. Then we can move on. Right?
I apologize this has taken so long because that is not my intention in anything we do. Like, honestly, I want resolution. I wish this was done quicker. I literally felt like my hands were tied and I couldn't have done this faster. I'm going to be like, that's it. I'm not trying to skip you. I said this to you on the phone the other day. Not my intention. If that frustration has gotten to you, I apologize for that.
That isn't an apology to Angel, though. That's apologizing for not reacting to the situation fast enough. Like you didn't apologize to Angel, then that's what we want, right?
No, I mean,
I apologize for this taking too long. What do you
wait?
But this isn't the issue of it taking too long.
But that's the part that I think that she feels like I'm responsible for.
No, she's.
I think, well, in this case, that's all that Grayson really has to apologize for. I mean, you could make some arguments some other stuff, but I'm more than happy to accept that, Grayson. I appreciate that.
Okay,
but that's not really my main concern. To be blunt.
Ma, if you've got anything to say it.
Which specific part am I apologies for?
I
guess
she was incompetent because that's kind of mean.
Oh yeah, that was kind of slick even for me. I'm my bad on that one, Angel. That one just kind of came out. I'm sorry for that.
Anything else?
I accept your apology.
Okay. All right. I was about to say, is he retarded?
But unfortunately, we still find ourselves in a bit of a bind. There was still the fallout from everything that has occurred, and it's still there. It's not going away. So what do we do about that?
I mean, like, as far as everything else goes, it's going to have to go through due process at this point. Like, Falcon is engaged. I can't step in and overrule. I don't know what he did. I've read it, but, you know.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the the contempt rulings and all that stuff. I mean, if his apologies are wonderful, and on a personal level, I appreciate it. But like you said, that stuff is still on the docket. So what now?
So there's currently an appeal of the contempt of court charge going on. Gates has taken that. It'll proceed as normal, unless Ma wishes to vacate his contempt.
I have a question. What case was she? She just came in here and talked about mistrialing a case. Is that like what was up with that? Why did she say that?
I literally have no idea what she was talking about. I was more focused on what we were talking about.
Right. I just thought that was very strange to hear.
I think she's thinking about another case.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't with this one. Anything related to that.
Okay.
Huh? You got anything to say?
Wait, I think was it not a question on the floor? Like, so with all this,
she does the contempt thing goes through the thing that's already in place, or Ma takes it back.
Ma can vacate his.
Vacate it.
Is the issue just having the thing? You have no issue having the contempt? We have no issue with just apologizing to Big Moo and Love?
Sophia's around if you want to bring her up here.
Well, if we're apologizing to Mick Moo, then does she not owe me an apology too? If we're just
I thought that was Love that you were talking to.
Or whoever it was, right?
There were comments to, I think, both of them.
Big Moo had no hand in that case. It was Love overseeing.
But it was a comment
Big Moo
about her
posted it first,
abandoning it to get another career. That was in there too.
I mean, regardless of that, right? I don't really care for apologies. I think the thing here is we need to not dictate what we perspect as serious, right? And that is the black and white issue to this whole docket posting, right? Do you agree or disagree, Ma?
No, I just said right.
No, and I'm asking, do you agree or disagree?
Right, as in like I agree. Like that's what I mean by right. So here's the thing, right? When it comes to what dictating what and what behaviors are contemptible or not, it's with the doubling down and what we see as doubling down behavior after we call it out. When it goes from making comments towards a magistrate, and trust me, Angel, I'm not trying to open this bag of worms, but from my perspective, like I saw that I have at least 2 magistrates under me that's on this case that one had to recuse himself off of, and the one that I'm taking over to help support them they're kind of getting, for lack of a better term, I know this might not be your intent, but shit talked. I'm just saying shit talk because I don't have a better term for it. But for them to be kind of treated that way, because of their rank or what they're perceived as, or even make comments made towards their career choices, at some point I gotta step up to bat for them. Now I should be saying like things like for you perhaps and whatnot, but I have to address those things directly that's been posted on the docket. I can't let those things that are made towards my magistrate slide.
Whether you addressed them with One Piece gifts.
Oh yeah, because the emoji thing was kind of funny. I'll admit that on the spot.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So how are you saying that you need to address what's been said seriously, while then choosing to open up that can of worms of unserious throughout yourself? Right?
You're contributing at that point.
Like you are aiding to the SBS.
Hold on.
Beat around the bush.
Emoji thing is, I reacted to emoji thing because it's immaterial to everything else. Everything else below it, you saw my reasoning for everything I quoted and everything I addressed.
Here's the thing, though. Can I use plain language?
Yeah.
When you're acting on the docket and then you get serious all of a sudden, it's kind of a whiplash. And the emoji things are not immaterial because I don't know how fucking ethereally relevant they are. But when everyone, there's that energy in the air and then all of a sudden a fucking contempt comes through, it kind of is a little strange. And we deal with these kind of things actively all the time in San Andreas, right? And that's why I brought up the tag thing. We can't all be playing tag and then someone pulls a gun out and said, well, I'm justified for using the gun because of X, Y, and Z, right?
Right.
Because I feel like being serious now, right?
No.
But that's how it looks.
Oh, that's how it looks, but that's how it wasn't.
No, but nobody knows that. Nobody knows that.
How is anyone supposed to know that?
The energy that you were talking about is the fact that Angel kept escalating with the insults.
Everyone was insulting everybody. What do you think?
How?
You guys started the insults by insulting you. We didn't
everyone
start that shit.
Everyone was literally. It's like this is right the equivalent to an NBA game. I'm gonna use a different one because these are fun. It's like an NBA game, and then the ref is coming in. Like there's all this punch in and like whatever, and all these fouls. The ref comes in, he fucking pushes one of the people down, and then goes on the side, blows a whistle, and throws a fucking penalty on the bar. It's like, what the fuck? You're the damn ref.
Yeah, to jump on Brian's analogy, it's like being at a demolition derby and then some guy shows up with an RPG and just blows your car up for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like getting into a fight at MRPD and somebody pulls a knife and you end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Sure. It is a shit show regardless, but all of a sudden there's really serious stuff that's getting through. Contempt of court is a relatively serious charge, I would say. And, how can we be, pigs dancing around in the mud and then all of a sudden one of us is off to get slaughtered?
And just to add on to that, as the presiding judge overseeing it, right, as you were, you literally set an SBS tone and then just swapped to a serious tone. And like Ava said, it's difficult already to read tone, but the way that you were directing both tones, it was very easy to understand, right? From the start point to the finish, but it was due to the 180 in the drastic change of tone, right? Like, you just chose what you wanted to do without thinking of the others involved or what had happened prior, right?
The most important skill as a judge, Frost, and I don't know if you know this, right? It's not legal knowledge, it's literally reading the room, right? And it's something that
which Mar clearly can't do.
Mar can. Mar's still
Have you seen my Opal cases?
I definitely can't, for sure.
I think Mar's learning a lesson right now, and I think that's important, right? I think we don't burn everybody down because they make one mistake.
I think
you need some time to think about what you want to do with this, Mar.
I mean, all I really want out of it, if my decisions be vacated, all I want is to make something launch something moo and love directly that, hey, these comments should have been made, my bad. Much as I just did it to Angel. If that could be fulfilled for those two, then I'm fine with vacating my decision. My thing is mainly just because of the fact that I saw a magistrate being mistreated badly. I feel like people...
Well, what about Frost?
What about Frost?
This whole thing started because he was insulted, didn't I?
What was the insult again? Because they said he was new to being a sheriff?
I believe that's where it started, yeah.
Both sides were going at each other. right? And it get escalated. You felt a certain way, Ma, all right? And you made a call. We felt a certain way, and we filed a bunch of shit, all right?
So
What would you like out of this?
Sophia is downstairs. Do you want her to come up? That's
I
what
mean,
you want?
I don't really have anything to say to her at the moment. I think that
I'm
we
going to
should
be real.
finish
I
this
think
first.
I think if like Frost is going to squash his grievances and we can squash ours and we can all just move on from ourselves, I think would be a healthier solution. I think this has been productive
would
in
think so
the
too.
in the larger, right?
I mean, I don't want an apology. I just want to see this fixed, right? I'm not in my feelings about this.
Okay.
It's more.
This can't happen
Let's
again.
set a standard, right?
Yeah.
Like I
where
don't
I'm
care
at.
if Lou tells me she's sorry. Like it doesn't mean anything to me. What does mean something to me
That's
is
how I
making
feel
sure
about
that the
this.
docket is a professional place where our department, the BCSO, is confident in engaging in not only for themselves and their own development and justice, so that you guys also have my department engaging with you on a professional level. That's what matters, right?
Right.
Apologies
Okay.
and shit don't.
I think
This comes back to our first conversation that we had, the hour-long conversation at the beginning about raising standards across the board, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that.
Yeah. I'm going to ask an honest question here, so because I think this is very important. Did everyone enjoy what was happening up until the content?
No,
No, not really.
absolutely
Okay.
not.
All right.
I'm gonna be honest,
I tried calling her to settle out of court purely because I didn't want to deal with you guys. If
Okay.
you want my honest truth.
We do. It's important. I'll also
Okay.
tell you this much. I had at least one of those magistrates begging for permission to go enter that docket and start throwing fucking bombs, and I told them no.
Okay. This is
Right?
very well
because they wanted to defend
yeah.
themselves.
And this is very much why I asked that question, right? And this is why it's got to get solved, right?
I'd rather get a resolution on this, fix it, wash it, move on with our lives, because I think it's healthier.
I would agree. Well, what is the resolution then? Where do we go from here?
We're waiting on judicial authority Yilong Ma to make it.
Oh, what? I already named it, but what was the counter to that?
Wait, say it
Are
again.
you even in the room, Ma?
I am.
Every time you ask the question, you have to ask someone what the question is. Like multiple
I'm convinced you're
times.
stoned.
Because
like, are you
24/7.
listening?
I already said that as
He
long
wanted
as they get.
apologies to Sophia and
Did you hear that part?
Love.
Okay, let's.
That's why I was saying
that
should I
back.
get her up here because that could be done. But then she doesn't have anything to say to her. But she did already say it in the room, so isn't that you want it to be directly to them?
Yeah, that's all I want. And I'll
You can't
vacate
really
the
force
decision.
people to do that, but okay. She's
I don't understand. I don't understand. Respectfully, I don't. I will say this, okay? You already see my appeal up. I don't think you can compel me to do that. First of all, but secondly, I don't know what I have to apologize with them for. I don't think I said anything overtly offensive or insulting to them.
I mean, you said already that you walked back a few things that you may have said on the docket that were not appropriate.
Right,
as well.
of
So
course. But I don't necessarily believe that calling out some potential conflicts or genuine legal concerns.
If Brian wasn't here, there'd be blood all over the floor. Their conversation wouldn't have happened either.
I mean, if you can, if there's, I will say this: I haven't read this filing in a month and a half. Okay, so I don't really genuinely remember what I specifically said. If there is a specific section that you believe that I should not have said, or you think that was insulting, I'm more than happy to hear it, and reconsider my opinion now. But from my recollection, I didn't say anything that was overtly insulting to them.
I
don't hold a negative opinion of them either.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. This is just
like I don't dislike those two at all.
Compel somebody's speech.
we have to move on from this. Like
I am more than happy
to
to re-look at my statements and go from there. But I would want to do that out of. I would want to do that out of. I would want to do that out of there being an actual issue with what I said, not because you're forcing me to, right?
All I'm saying is within the first post, especially with McMoose thing, with the allegations towards her about what she decided to do with the career choices and everything, dumbfounded stuff. As long as those get acknowledged, If it's just McMoo, fine. I'll vacate it.
Are the feelings here more important than that there's a contempt and the shit show that will be as a consequence on the docket that I'm sure we've all seen?
I mean, all I was considering was that there was an ask to how to move forward. I just put forward a simple ask, then I'll
Okay.
vacate it, and that removes it. That's all I looked at it.
No,
from
I
this
get that,
standpoint.
but
If there's supposed to be a give and take. That's what I'm giving. If you want me to give something else, then what's the counter?
I just want the contempt ruling gone. That's all I really want.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can acknowledge, but at least did McMoo, or at least said to McMoo about her career choices, I'll vacate it then.
Can you point to me specifically the
first
statements you have an
post?
issue with? But can you be specific? Because I don't know which one is my first post.
This is such a dumb hill to die on.
Post 22.
22. Can you please highlight the section that you take issue with?
Oh yeah, whatever, real quick.
I feel like that is kind of an ethereal comment.
Which bit?
I don't think it even
The
said
part where it
anything.
says, additionally, the previous attorney that had now abandoned this case in favor of pursuing a new career should not be providing obvious bias to the use of emotes on the official document.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. I mean, that's understandable, but you have to understand that one's kind of loaded because we've had some further conversations and things enlightened to us that make that statement difficult to defend now, right? If the understanding of that situation was the same then, I would just not have said that.
I'd prefer we drop it based on that. I'm going to be real more because I don't want to touch on it. You don't want to touch on it. Angel doesn't want to touch on it. Let's leave it alone.
All right. Well, I think what she just said is good enough for me, so I could agree to vacate it.
Okay, resolution.
That makes me happy to hear. I'm glad that we're able to come to an amicable resolution to the situation.
And to avoid it happening in the future.
That is something that I think that it would be good to focus on too. To make sure that this doesn't happen again would be very good.
Yeah, I agree. In relation to ACLs, do you think maybe the legislative authority panel thing would be a solution?
Well,
we can
first
actually
off,
get this shit to go ahead quickly.
I think we got
well,
it.
First off, you can you don't need to worry about posting my ACR then, Grayson, okay? Because I'm satisfied with this resolution, and this is essentially what I was seeking to gain from it. So you don't need to worry about that. Just want to move on from that, okay? So you guys can communicate that in your internal channels or whatever. I can withdraw my filings.
Ava, Roman, can one of you do that?
Yeah, I have a question too.
What do you want me to do?
Just relay that it's been Angel's formally withdrawn.
Chat, I never patrol anymore.
What?
Oh my God.
Our internal
Oh my
communication.
God. The poor cadet.
Yeah.
The poor soon to be cadet.
Can I ask a question or can I say something about the vibe of this? Okay. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but it's an issue that keeps coming up. It's a respect thing, right? I feel like there's a level of it that is across the board. People are really disrespectful to each other, and it comes from a place of disagreement. It comes from a place of not liking people sometimes, but whatever it is, it makes people acting professionally seemingly impossible sometimes, and it makes everybody feel some kind of way. And I am not used to that. I'm used to people doing their job, like working. You have whatever beef or whatever conflict in work, professional, and then once you're done with that, your personal life is different. People seem to be in their feelings and staying there. Like you go off duty, you're still in your feelings. You have an issue or conflict with the person professionally in work, and privately you're still talking shit about the person as a person. And then not even that, but you're allowing everybody across the board in that field to take hits too. Like, I'm over here minding my business and I'm getting hits about DOJ's dog shit. And it's people in uniform, Senior Buns and Mosley's, just anywhere, just talking massive amounts of shit about the DOJ. And I'm like, what did I do? I didn't do a fucking thing. But nevertheless, here we are. Is there a way that we could stop that? Like, actually,
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
No, probably not.
But
But what I
okay,
will say,
okay,
but
then
what
it
I
has
will
to
say,
be understood.
you
If
you
everyone else is
occupy a
allowed to
thankless
be-
position that everyone hates you for doing your
you
job.
know more than anyone.
I'm gonna be
Yes.
real with you.
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
be real.
No, listen, I completely empathize and understand with what you guys are going through. That doesn't really change
I know you
the
do.
way that I
I do know
approach
you do.
things, you know.
So what I want to do is I want to extend the invitation. If this ever happens again, if anything happens again, let's just get in a fucking room and talk. Like, that's why I called Frost, because, we were all sat around here doom spiraling. So I just fucking phoned Frost and I'm like, hey, let's talk. Do we need to talk? Let's talk.
Yeah.
It's the only way this works. It's the only way. And I mean that to anybody. Like, Angel, if you want to call me directly, call me
Listen,
directly.
I appreciate you saying that now, but I did try to communicate this with you, and this is ultimately all I really wanted, ever,
You
really.
had really bad timing,
know?
I'm going to be real.
And that's understandable. But I think in the future, if I call you and I have a problem, any of you, I'm a very direct person, just like Ava. I've also got the spicy brain. I like to be very direct with people. I like to openly communicate. I resorted to this other stuff because I felt I had no other recourse, not because I wanted to, ruin your lives. So, I'm glad that we're able to get this done now.
Good. Okay. Anybody needs anything
Good.
from me, you know where to find me. I'm always available.
Of course.
Yeah, no, same goes for you guys. You know where we are, right?
In the Sandy place?
That's right. In the smugless, 5G-less, safe haven
Your phones
of the
don't work.
desert. We don't use
That
smartphones.
is not
so-
true. That
Well,
is
no,
not
we don't
true.
use smartphones up there.
It is not a safe place.
It is a safe place.
I take issue with that. I got chased by a dog yesterday. Minding my business.
Yeah, we're on with training those
Okay.
dogs. Those dogs have caused a few issues recently.
stray
But
dog.
You don't
we-
say.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
Junior was
another place, Murder Kitty. Out
You
of
laughing
nowhere.
there for something funny?
the murder kitties are
funny.
also being trained right now.
They need more training.
I once
can't
gave
run that
somebody a
fast. I
gun
wear heels
license to
most of the
protect
time.
themselves from murder kitties, and I got told I was selling AKs on the courthouse steps.
Oh, wow.
Somebody told me I was a threat because I had AKs on my earrings.
That sounds pretty threatening. Do we have any more serious things that we'd like to talk? Because I do actually have a proposal
No.
I'd like to make before.
Okay, what's up?
I would like us to update our mutual combat legislation to include a provision
Oh.
for Pokemon battles. I think that engaging, I think that allowing a Pokemon showdown, doubles, 4v4, whatever rule set that both sides can agree on would be very good.
Junior'd still lose every fight he gets in.
Which
Probably.
Excuse me.
I
I
might
am
not, though.
actually one-on-one in KTBC. Thank you very much.
I was told that doubles are better, and I'm gonna believe that.
Yeah,
until I'm
they're
proven
more
wrong.
there's more thought put into them. But I think that that'd be a good thing to do. Add more options to the
would
mutual
be
combat
fun.
legislation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think that
So
would
just
be
something
really
to,
fun.
something to consider. I don't know exactly what I have to do to draft that up. If you'd want me to come up with something, I'm happy to. But I'd like to
You
start
want to
pushing
push
that
stuff
forward.
at us? We'll look at it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I think that'd
do
be
we have
good.
any Pokemon? Hey, Ma,
Wait,
you
who
a
would be the-
Pokemon nerd?
Not really. I stopped
That's
paying attention after Johto.
That's
Wait,
literally
but
Sophia.
who's the Pokemon though?
So
Like, can I make Junior my Pokemon? It's like, go Junior.
No,
you
like
smash.
no, you gotta get your own.
Little
You gotta get
dragon.
your own Pokemon.
Oh man, Junior's not very effective.
What you said?
Oh, right. Anyway, guys, if we feel everything's dealt with,
Okay.
I have some
Hey.
things I need to do.
Hell yeah.
So
I think that's everything that we need.
thank
to
you
do.
guys for
Perfect.
meeting up.
I think Junior's been described multiple times as a devolution from Nino Chavez.
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh, he's like the
a
baby
Pichu to
Pokemon.
Pikachu?
Yeah, me too.
I get that a lot.
I don't want us to
Damn.
lose sight on the expungement stuff.
I took notes. I'm gonna get it
All
drafted.
right.
I'll send you
And
guys a draft.
if there is a desire for more conversation with the legislative bodies, we're down with it. You know what I mean?
Dude, like next time somebody shows up, I'll make sure the other side gets an invite. 'Cause
All
I
right.
think it's fun.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Thank you very much.
No
Sounds
problem.
good.
Be safe,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you, everyone. We're still on Ava, by the way. Don't forget. Name the time and place, and I'll smoke yet.
All right.
how long until Elon Musk summons a Pokemon on the docket?
Next case, I don't know, man.
I
I feel like we have a lot to talk about now.
Yep. Is that Norman Adams?
Is that Norman Adams? I can't tell. It looks like
That
him.
does look like Norman Adams.
It is me. Hey, how
Hey,
you guys
Norman.
doing?
How you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Pretty
Doing
good,
great, how
not
are
too
you?
bad.
I'm good. Just talking to the press here. Looking up having a little conversation. Just might need to players, so.
It always
Got it,
brings a
okay.
smile to my face looking at you, Norman, with everything we've been through.
Why is